Well, welcome back, everyone. Meteorologist Stone Schaefer here, live for severe weather coverage as the National Weather Service in Grand Rapids has now issued severe thunderstorm warnings with the considerable tag for areas of southern Isabel and Gratiot counties. Those will go until, let's just see some of that information just real quickly. So those warnings, they are going to go until 4 p.m. So this line is slowly making its way through. It's moving right around 55 miles per hour. So it's not to you quite yet if you live in areas like Alma, out to Ithaca, Mount Pleasant, Shepherd, but it is on the way and it has been producing wind up to 65 to 80 miles per hour. So you're going to want to be prepared to get into your indoors, away from windows, away from any kind of trees. Obviously, winds up to 70 miles per hour can cause that damage. There is also the possibility of seeing some hail up to about 3/4 of an inch to an inch. So you definitely want to be prepared for that. That can cause damage to roofs, to your homes. It can also shatter windows. So you got to be prepared for that, especially if you get wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour here. But this is the first round of severe thunderstorm warnings issued for our area. We'll continue to most likely see warnings issued. Now, I do want to say, if you do see me checking my phone, it's just to keep an eye on some of the warnings, just as we will continue to see them issued through most likely the remainder of the day. If you missed our stream earlier, or if you missed our newscast at noon, and you've just been maybe out and about busy, a severe thunderstorm watch has been issued for every county within the TV5 viewing area. That goes until 8 p.m. Today. So it is there that most counties, if not every county, will have a chance of seeing showers and thunderstorms here from about now till about 8 p.m. that could become severe. So we want to have you prepared. We're going to have live coverage on our stream. We're going to have coverage on our newscast at 4, 5:30, 5, and 6 as this line moves through. So we're going to be all over the place. You can watch us on YouTube. You can watch us on our website at wnem.com/watchlive. Facebook at WNEM TV5 News. You can watch us on our apps on TV, on Roku and Apple TV. You can also download the TV5 First Alert Weather app. You can be able to get to our stream from there and our news app. So many locations to catch us. But when we look at our pinpoint Doppler, it is showing that that line's still taking its time. It's moving about 55 miles per hour at the latest report. So it's been speeding up, it's been slowing down. At one point, the National Weather Service was reporting it was moving at about, let's say, 70 miles per hour. So right now, it's slowed down just a little bit. It's about what the speed was when it first started moving into the state, and we saw some reports towards Kent County and southwest of that. For some of that timing, though, as this line continues to develop, again at 55 miles per hour to the north-northeast, you're going to be looking at Alma right around 3:45. Could be a little bit earlier than that. We'll see how development out ahead. But Chesaning, you're looking at right around 4. Again, give or take 15 to 30 minutes ahead or behind, because this line does continue to sort of fluctuate with its speeds as it moves east. Saginaw, though, you've been consistently right around 4 to 4:15. Bay City, right around 4:15 to 4:30. I think Flint, you're going to be looking at 4 to 4:15 with this line as it moves in. So again, just be prepared. Our main threat for this line continues to be wind gust at 65 to 80 miles per hour. It's going to be hail up to about an inch, inch and a quarter. The tornado threat is there, but it's on the smaller side at this point. So mainly that wind threat is our concern at this point. Again, wind reports up to 70 miles per hour in Kent County there, just south of Grand Rapids. And that is why they continue to issue these considerable tags and destructive tags along this line. So this line, again, is stretching from Isabella County now all the way to the Indiana border. And this line is impacting a large area of the region. So like I said, all the way through really central Indiana, seeing this line move its way in. And up to the north, even though you don't have warnings, you do have some more isolated cells wanting to develop here through the 3 o'clock hour. And like always, if you have any questions about the weather that's going on, head over to our Facebook page at WNEM TV5 News. There I'll try to answer any of the questions that you may have. I do apologize in advance if I miss your question because I don't always have the time to look over there. We also sometimes get a flurry of chats and maybe I miss your chat. So I do apologize for that, but obviously an active pattern. But again, no tornado warnings from this line so far. That's a good thing. We've continued to mention through a majority of our Monday morning into our early afternoon that the tornado chance is on the smaller side with this line, but it's still there. That similar to what we had in April, right around April 14th, it was a line just like this. We got some spin ups along it. Luckily, our environment not as strong for tornadoes like that day, but definitely still strong enough for those strong winds. So this line is just starting to enter Gratiot County. If you live down there in southwestern Gratiot County, towards Bloomer, Fulton Township, Ashley, you're going to be in this, Ithaca, and then down towards Shiawassee, you have a few more cells developing right now. So Perry, up to Morris and Owasso, Bennington Township, that's going to be more areas that we'll just watch out for any development out ahead. I'm actually going to take this full screen just because I think it's important that we see the full aspect of this weather. Any power outages yet? I did see that there was a report of some power outages within the western half of the state. Let me look up our Consumers Energy map just to see. Obviously, the TV5 viewing area, not seeing any, but it does look like areas between Lansing and Grand Rapids and Kalamazoo have been reporting power outages. So just be prepared for that. It's definitely a possibility with wind gusts 65 to 70 miles per hour. Can you show the storm for the next few hours? Just real quickly, I should be able to do that for you. But again, once this starts to move in, I do want to just take that coverage live on that radar. But I can show hour by hour real quickly just to highlight what we're seeing. So again, give or take 30 minutes to an hour with this line. Models are doing a decent job, but timing may be a little bit slower on hour by hour. So again, that line moving in towards about 4 p.m. to that 127 corridor to 4 to 5, reaching our Tri-Cities and Flint, and then reaching the Thumb by about 6 p.m. It looks to break apart at times, but hold together. All of the TV5 viewing area is in that severe thunderstorm watch, so you are going to have a chance from Holton Lake down to Flint, into West Branch, in the Tri-Cities, into the Thumb, to have that chance of seeing severe weather with this line moving through. So real quickly pulling back to our pinpoint Doppler with these warnings popping up and just looking at our chat, what time do you think it will be reaching Frankenmuth into Saginaw? So I can pull that line real quickly once again for anyone that is joining here just a little bit later. Saginaw, you're going to be looking at right around 4:15 to 4:30. So it's a big range, but this line continues to speed up and slow down. You have Flint right around 4:10 to 4:20. I think Frankenmuth is going to be a very similar time frame, right around that 4:15 to 4:25. But again, give or take a few minutes on either side of that because it is not keeping consistent speed as it moves in. Again, it's been speeding up, it's been slowing down. Some areas will develop a little bit more, some maybe just dying down a little bit. But again, do have some power outages with this, do have wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. And I don't know what that is actually, that warning that just got issued for the Bay. But obviously, if you have any family members out on the Bay, out camping in areas across the Tri-Cities into the Thumb, they're going to want to stay weather aware through the rest of our Monday with this line moving in. Obviously a tent, if you have someone that's out in a tent or even a camper, not going to like 65 to 75 mile per hour winds as this line moves in. Going back to our chat, how about West Branch? How about Beaverton? How about Mount Pleasant? We'll go through some of these cities real quickly. I think Mount Pleasant, you have probably another 30 minutes. You will see some isolated cells ahead of it. It does look like the strongest portion of this line is south of US 10. So it's this area right here. If I can quickly highlight it. I'll just do a straight line across. It's this area right here that we're seeing sort of the strongest wind reports, the strongest areas of rain, some of the most amount of lightning. So if you're in that area, and let me just highlight that because that is our strongest area right now. Let me delete this other portion There we go. Just going to highlight the strongest areas. Mount Pleasant, that's not what I wanted. Just those areas where you're seeing the strongest area, and especially the largest amount of hook from this line, is where we're going to have the biggest threat. I think a good sign for Mount Pleasant, you're not in that warning, at least most of the town isn't, so that's a good sign. But again, if you live in Alma, you got about most likely 10 to 15 minutes. Mount Pleasant's probably about 10 to 15 minutes. Saginaw, again, 4:10 to 4:15. Bay City at about 4:20 to 4:30. Lapeer at 4:35. So anywhere in that time frame. Will this storm be as strong or just normal like usual? It can be strong. Again, wind gusts up to 65 to 75, maybe 80 miles per hour. That's strong, especially for Michigan. We get these wind gust storms, but not maybe this strong, this often, like we're seeing right now. Let's go. How long is this supposed to last? I think our window is going to be through about 6 p.m. After that, we'll have some lighter development on the backside, but then even after that, it looks like we're going to be clear tonight. We'll have another possibility of severe weather into tomorrow morning, or into tomorrow afternoon, I should say. What about Bad Axe, Michigan? You may be seeing some isolated cells right now, so be prepared for that. Don't get caught off by some rain. This line, if it keeps strength, will eventually reach you. It's going to be a little bit later, so there's definitely some potential that it misses you, but that line so far has really held on south of US 10 and sort of into the thumb. So again, I'll quickly just highlight this. It will be something I continue to highlight. And I will apologize if I miss your city with this line. Sometimes it picks up some random locations. Obviously, yesterday was Power Plant, an old bar, according to some of our viewers out there in Tuscola, Sanilac County. So sometimes it does pick up on some different locations. But again, Saginaw, 4:10, 4:20. Flint, 4:15 to 4:25. Bad Axe, you're looking a little bit later at 5:10 to 5:20. I'm giving you a little bit of a range just because this system has been slowing down, it's been speeding up, hasn't been really consistent with its speed, so that's just something we have to just be aware of, that it could speed up, it could slow down and reach you a little bit earlier, a little bit slower. But right now it's moving at 55 miles per hour to the north-northeast here in the 3 o'clock hour. But like I said, there are some, somebody mentioned this just a couple seconds ago in our chat, been watching little pop-ups develop southwest of us here in Caro, and that's in an area, Tuscola County, Huron County, like I mentioned before, you have been seeing just a few pop-up showers, definitely some heavy rainfall. I think if you, south of Bad Axe there along M53, be prepared. This cell looks pretty healthy as it moves through, so definitely could see some hail there and some of that heavy rainfall. But again, our severe thunderstorm warnings continue to hold on to Gratiot and southern Isabella County. Mount Pleasant, you actually are included in that, so be prepared. This line just gets you on the north side. Looks like the heart of it is now just getting into southern Gratiot County. So again, if you live in Fulton Township, you live in Ithaca, you have a cell moving in right now. Ashley, you need to be prepared. Alma, you're also be prepared. I'd get indoors here over the next 10 to 15 minutes. You don't want to be outdoors with winds up to 70 miles per hour possible. And quickly, I'm going to look at our National Weather Service chat just to see what they are showing up. If they're seeing anything, they are going to get reports a little bit quicker. Let me know if you have any damage as well here through our afternoon. But if you are going to see damage, make sure the storm has passed. We obviously don't want you to be outdoors as this line moves its way through. So far, I haven't seen any reports of our wind gusts, but again, we'll get those on and off through the rest of this line. But Ithaca, if you live south of Ithaca, just be prepared. You do have a cell moving there. That isn't the severe part of this area. It's definitely this line that's moving into southwest Gratiot County. Let's pull up our rotations just real quickly, just to see if we see anything that we have to keep an eye out on. Not really. We're not seeing any of those greens and reds next to each other, and that's always a good sign. Again, a lot of our wind aloft is moving with this line and not against. If you remember back in April, we had a very similar line to this that moved in and gave us some tornadoes, and wind for that was going against the the line. So that's what gave us some of those spin ups. It's obviously a possibility, but it's a small one here through the rest of our afternoon. And again, not to count out Huron County, you do have some cells moving through. Be prepared. You live in Bad Axe just for some rain. Might miss you to the east, but that's definitely heading towards Harbor Beach and Port Hope. But they're not warned. They don't even have a special weather statement, so that's a good sign, at least out ahead of our main line. But destructive tags are in place along all of this line as it moves in. Just real quickly, just checking some notifications I am getting on my phone, so sorry for that silence. And it looks like TV5 First Alert meteorologist Diane Phillips is going to join me. Hopefully we can get this mic working. It doesn't have a hook on it. You might have to hold it.
All right, yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. First Alert meteorologist Diane Phillips joining in, just kind of helping Stone out here. I've been working behind the scenes. We're prepped and ready to go for the 4 o'clock, so now I'm able to kind of help here on our digital coverage. So mainly right now we are just starting to see that big push of winds come into Gratiot County. So thankfully the National Weather Service was able to give us some very good lead time for folks in Gratiot and Isabella counties, just with that wind coming in. So right there along M66, which is going to be cutting through Ashley. I believe Carson City is along that roadway there. So Fulton Township, we actually had storms, that tornado threat back in April right through this. We're seeing winds here, and these have already been as strong as nearly 75 miles per hour. So where that golden color is coming through, that's actually where we are seeing some of our strongest winds. So that's just now coming into Gratiot County. The winds that we have been seeing with these storms so far have been nearly as strong as a weak tornado. So we don't have anything that's actually rotating, but we do just have strong winds that can do damage very similar to that. So this is why we want folks that are in these severe thunderstorm warnings in Gratiot County to be sheltering, headed inside. You don't necessarily need to be in your basement, but I still would recommend being away from windows, doors. Just the safer, the better. If you are in Ithaca, you have just a couple of minutes before this is going to be coming in. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 5, maybe 10 minutes at the very most before that strongest push of winds comes in, because we do have that line of storms that's just now starting to enter mid-Michigan. So really what's kind of pushing out here is going to be those strong winds, and that's really kind of been the headliner of these storms, has been the wind part of this. We haven't seen too many reports of hail come through. We've also seen reports that this line has been able to pick up a lot of dust as it comes in. So you may see some dust kind of on the outer edge. So just keep that component in mind, to where it may look like a tornado, but we haven't seen any rotation here in mid-Michigan from this line so far. So it has mainly been a wind concern for us, and actually just coming in, I'm sure, Stone is just seeing that new warning in for Shiawassee County.
Yes, so Shiawassee County was just issued that severe thunderstorm warning with the considerable tag to it. Obviously, they're expecting wind gust up to 70 miles per hour possible with this, and then a penny-sized hail. Now, we just saw they actually canceled, I'm assuming, the northern counties for the severe thunderstorm watch. Oh no, out west. So as this line moves through, they are going to cancel the severe thunderstorm watch. We are seeing that, but still in place for the TV5 viewing area. But wanted to highlight that. Back to this line right now as it moves its way in towards Gratiot County and now Shiawassee County, where again, you have now had that warning issued. Your phone's probably going off at this point, and you're going to be the possibility of wind up to 70 miles per hour and hail up to penny size. So not the largest hail, but it is there. If you live in Langsburg, it's going to be around 335, Perry at 340, Owasso and Morris, you're going to be looking at 345 as you get to Bancroft at 355 and Durand at 4.
And when we talk about these considerable or destructive tags that are coming through, what these are just some notes that the National Weather Service is putting on the full bulletin of text that they send out. And a normal severe thunderstorm warning is for 60-mile-per-hour winds. And the reason that they went with the considerable tag in Shiawassee County is that they are still looking at potentially 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So that's kind of the difference there. It's not enough for them to go and send out the wireless emergency alerts directly to your cell phone. So hopefully you do have that First Alert Weather app, but we still are seeing these winds to be very strong. As we're on the Detroit radar here. So in the Lansing area, this is kind of right between where the Grand Rapids and the Detroit radars switch off. But we're seeing some very strong winds coming through the Lansing area. And so those are going to be headed not directly across 96, but actually a little bit closer towards I-69 and kind of potentially even heading right along the highway and pushing in that direction. So we'll just be watching that cluster of winds here. Again, they're not in mid-Michigan, but that is going to be where we have it. And the one good thing to note, though, is in the Lansing area, they do have that destructive tag there. That's because they have the winds that are a little bit stronger. But we are going to continue to see those winds hopefully become a little bit lighter for us. So that's why they have just gone with that considerable tag for Shiawassee County.
So yeah, that line continues now, just starting to cross 127. Obviously, if you have any family members that are traveling maybe north of Lansing or south of Lansing on that 127 corridor, just make sure they're prepared. It is going to get windy. Visibilities will be reduced. I'm also seeing that we do have some power outage reports in the Lansing area. So I'm actually going to just pull up our Consumers Energy map on another computer. You won't be able to see this, but I do have it here to my right, and we're blocking each other here. That's all right. We got a small area. So yeah, some reports just north of Maple Rapids giving us some power outages towards Grand Ledge and Portland. So out of the TV5 viewing area, but definitely a sign of what is on the way as this line moves in. Reports of wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour. I'm quickly going to look at our chat just to see if they have any reports of any stronger wind gust at this point with this line. So it doesn't look like they've sent in any reports, but it is there. And we're actually going to pull up that Consumers Energy map real quickly. And again, what you're seeing is west of 127, you're seeing power outages. So again, north of Maple Rapids, around sort of into Clinton County, west of Grand Ledge towards Portland and Ionia. That's where we're seeing power outages starting to pop up, and eventually this will really catch up as it moves east-northeast over the next couple of hours. And again, moving right around 50 miles per hour. Now, looking quickly over at our Facebook chat, what does it look like for Mount Pleasant? It's going to get windy in Mount Pleasant. I see a few questions about Mount Pleasant. Its wind gusts up to 50 to 60 miles per hour, could get up to 70 miles per hour. So if you have anything that's outdoors that could be blown away, you have a short window, especially in Mount Pleasant, to get those indoors. But once it starts to pick up, you're going to want to be in your indoors, maybe even in your shelter, away from windows, because you do have some hail within this line. Most reports have been about penny-sized, but it is there with that destructive tag, winds up to 70 miles per hour.
So with these reports that are coming in, we are going to continue to see power outages to be something that we need to watch for here in mid-Michigan. And actually just coming in, we did get that severe thunderstorm warning for the Tri-Cities. So that's going to be Saginaw, Bay, and Midland counties for that warning to go until 4:30 in the afternoon. That does not have, it does have a considerable tag, just because those winds, as we were talking throughout Gratiot County, same concern. So the advantage, again, if you are in Saginaw, Midland, or Bay counties, is that you have time to get inside, you have time to get away from windows and doors, you have the chance to go and make sure that the kids are inside after playing after a beautiful day. A lot of kids could potentially be outside. So And take this time if you are in Saginaw, Midland, or Bay County to head indoors, because where we're seeing those strongest winds, those are going to be closer towards Newark, Sumner, almost into Ashley and Ithaca. Also, just kind of wanting, I'm on the different radar, so that's probably why. I'm wondering on a cell potentially for some hail south of mid-Michigan. So let me do a little more investigating on that, just because we haven't had too much hail, but that cell is lining up just here south and east of Perry. So it's not quite into Shiawassee County, but we're just seeing a little bit of a spike there. So I just want to keep in mind that that is something that we can have still some hail there. So it's kind of around Conway and that cell that we're watching. Let's also bring up, if you could click on that for me, Stone, to see. It might take a little second for the data to download here, but yeah, so you can kind of see that cell just kind of coming in towards southern Shiawassee County. So it's still south of Perry and Bancroft, but it is going to be headed towards Burns, Byron, still south of Durand, I anticipate. So I'm just watching for potentially a little bit of hail there. So if you are in southern Shiawassee County, let us know what you're seeing. If you are seeing any hail there, this is just radar indicated, and there's no warning on that, so I don't anticipate it to be large hail. But just with us getting that signal there, I just want to keep an eye to those conditions. Stone, we still have those warnings that are coming into the Tri-Cities.
Yeah, so again, we have now 3 more severe thunderstorm warnings with that considerable tag. That includes Saginaw, Midland, and Bay City. Those are going to go until, let's see if I can get the timing on that just real quickly. And I just lost it. That was a good update by my phone. Sometimes the phone wants to fight you just a little bit. So that will go until 4:30 p.m. So we are moving. You have winds up to 70 miles per hour possible with that line and penny-sized hail. So it is there with that at this point. And again, there is some cells developing out ahead of this line. So be prepared for that. You may get a cell that moves in and develops, especially like this one we're seeing in southern Shiawassee County or down towards Tuscola and Huron County. That is not the severe thunderstorms. The severe thunderstorms are with this line that are now moving through Gratiot County, Isabella County, and starting to move into Shiawassee County. So if you're in Perry, you got about probably 5 minutes here to get indoors. If you have anyone that's outdoors, make sure they're getting inside as that wind's going to pick up and you do have some hail. I am going to quickly just do another time sort of outlook. I'm going to look how fast they are moving though, just so we can see exactly where this is going to be heading at what time, because I see we have a few questions over in our Facebook chat about where it's moving. So it is moving still at 60 miles per hour. So it's been right around 50 to 60 miles per hour through a majority of our Monday afternoon. So let's just time this out for anyone that's joining, because again, I've had a few questions in our chat. Just real quickly, Elijah, is there a warning in Midland? There is a severe thunderstorm warning now in Midland for the possibility of 70 mile per hour winds. So you need to be prepared for that strong wind gust in Midland. Elma, you have about a minute to 5 minutes. I would already be indoors if you're not. Chesaning, you're looking at 355. Saginaw at 4:05, right around 4:10. Flint, right around 4:15. Davison at 4:25. Lapeer at 4:35. And Bad Axe at 5. So again, it's been fluctuating just a little bit. Just be prepared for that. It could reach you a little bit earlier. It could reach you just a little bit later, as the line has been consistently right around 50 to 60 miles per hour. It was moving at 70 miles per hour at this point. Just quickly looking at our alerts, I just had a report sirens are off in Elma. That's most likely because there is a considerable tag with this. There is no tornado warnings. That's a good thing. That tornado chance, very small at this point, but it is there still that we could see a quick, brief spin up. Again, Mount Pleasant, this system is south of you, but you're still going to get windy, so please be prepared. You're definitely going to get some rain as we get through the rest of our afternoon. Let me just zoom in on Mount Pleasant just to show you where this is at. So you are going to catch the very northern edge of this line. It will get windy, not as windy as other areas, but still be prepared for wind gusts probably in the next 10 to 15 minutes, I would say, is my best bet for that. Another question over in our chat, more hail for Freeland. There definitely is a chance for some hail. It's not as large, so still be prepared for that. But I think the one thing we do have to be worried about is definitely that wind gust here. Winds up to 70 miles per hour possible as this line moves through.
So I'm just trying to bring up, because we did have that little hail core that was just south of Conway. Yeah, sorry for the technical difficulties. We are working on getting that secondary mic, and I don't want to have to yell at all of you and still have to provide you the forecast at 4. So just trying to preserve here, but get you that info. So even though we've had some hail questions, we're just seeing that cell that's coming in towards southern Shiawassee County. Haven't seen too many reports here about that actually verifying and making it to the ground, but we are still at least seeing just that one hail cell so far out of everything that we do have on radar. And then Stone, if you could also bring up velocity for me. I do want to just talk about that cluster that's sitting here along I-69. This is the best winds that we have. The wind that we had into Gratiot County, that has started to weaken quite a bit. You can see that that blue color has started to disappear around the Ashley area. Something to consider, though, is that's getting a little bit distance between the radar and that spot. But we are still seeing some of our strongest winds that are now just coming in closer towards Langsburg, soon to be in Bennington Township, soon to be in Perry as well. So if you are in Perry, Morris, Bennington, Langsburg, head inside, just because these winds are still extremely strong within this storm. We do still have those considerable tags. Also, just a programming note, while I'm still borrowing Stone's microphone, is that we will continue streaming during our 4 o'clock newscast. We will just be headed over to our secondary channel on our website. So I will bring that up to show you where that lives, so that you can be prepared for that switch over come 4 o'clock, because our crews are going to be doing that. For us behind the scenes. We will still be covering our local news during the 4 o'clock. I'll be covering weather through there, but here at the top of our home screen, if you hit watch live, you're currently watching our stream here on kind of the normal channel that it defaults to. But come 4 o'clock, you see where it says WNEM and breaking news and live events. That's where we're going to be switching our stream to. Now, if you are on YouTube and Facebook, nothing's going to change for you. It's only if you're watching at WNEM.com or on the TV5 News app, or even if you're streaming on Roku, Fire Stick, Android, or Apple Television, you will need to switch to the second channel. So just a programming note here, that if you are on Facebook and YouTube, you can just hang tight right here. We'll be with you the whole way. But if you are at WNEM.com, the TV5 News app, Roku, Fire, Android, or Apple Television, you will need to switch to the secondary live WNEM breaking news and live event channel. So just kind of a programming note there for you. Now we'll go back to our Sky Tracker and even our pinpoint Doppler to still give you a look here. Into the Tri-Cities, that warning is still going to be active until 4:30, so that's why we are going to, even with this line coming in, we're still going to continue streaming, but still keep our newscast going on there. I do also have our crews working in case we do need to jump quickly into any weather, that we do have that opportunity during our newscast. But again, Stone's going to be with you here. Chris is in as well, so we'll just kind of be all of us making sure that you have the latest information. And let's also just kind of bump back here, though, to velocities, because again, with that wind being the strongest thing, and just kind of wanting to monitor that. So again, that is going to be coming in right along I-69, closer towards Perry. So if you're in Owasso or Durand, just know that those strong winds are headed there. I'm glad to see some weakening in the northern side of this line as it's been coming through, because those storms that we had towards Ashley, even coming in towards Ithaca now, that used to be where we had the strongest winds, but now we're seeing those closer and kind of really picking up just west of Williamston, coming in for Perry. So that's going to be the cell that we're watching into Shiawassee County.
Okay, and I just see on Facebook, what is the fastest wind? There was a wind report in Kent County, south of Grand Rapids, at 80 miles per hour. So luckily so far we haven't had those reports here in the TV5 viewing area, but it's just something to watch out for. Let me look real quick just to see if there is any reports of strong wind gusts. Again, those will slowly filter into the National Weather Service, and those will be able to report once we get those. But I'm not seeing any new reports from any of the sensors, but there's definitely a possibility that you could get wind gusts up to 70 to 75 miles per hour. So just be prepared for that at this point into our afternoon. But again, this line moving through, they just issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Ingham County, so just south of our area, but it is there as that line now enters Shiawassee County. And again, you are also seeing some development out ahead. So just to quickly highlight, a special weather statement has been issued through Huron County right now. Bad Axe is included in that. There's just this one cell that's developing, and that could give us some hail, some stronger winds. I'm quickly trying to pull up that special weather statement that was issued for the thumb at this point. And that will go until 4:30 p.m. That's for 50-mile-per-hour winds and half-inch hail. So if you live in Pigeon, Bad Axe, that area, Caseville, Port Austin, you do have a chance with this cell to see some larger hail, winds up to 50 miles per hour. But it's a smaller cell. It's not going to be that whole area that is seeing it. But just be prepared for that. Owendale is just east of you, heading just to the west of Bad Axe. But if you live on the western side of the city, you may want to be prepared for that. Then as we look back at our severe thunderstorm warnings, that line continues to move through. Let me see if I can get the timings, the speed of that, just to time it real quickly for anyone that is wondering.
And while he's doing that, I'll hop back in. I am back on our secondary microphone, so I am going to try to still bring you some good information. So again, apologies for the audio on this microphone. Hopefully, again, we can get that fixed for you. But in the meantime, I do want to point out that a lot of this line has started to break apart. So we will have to be monitoring if it becomes kind of multicellular, just meaning that instead of it being a line that's pushing and bringing a lot of winds, we may have just cells that get embedded that are stronger compared to the entire line being strong. So that's kind of the movement that we're seeing from these storms that are moving through, is that they are starting to weaken, but we still can have some stronger cells that are going to be embedded in between. Also, just kind of keeping an eye to mainly wind has been our main concern. We haven't had anything rotating. And even that little hail cell that I was watching just south of Bancroft and southeast of Perry, that has also started to weaken. So we do have the ability with just the setup for today for the updraft to get and take raindrops and ice pellets higher up, still create those hailstones and able to fall down. So we do still have that hail possibility in the forecast, but we are seeing that mainly winds have been the main threat within this line rather than the hail component within these storms. We'll also hopefully soon be able to kind of give you a look at some of our cameras that are going through. Just a reminder, though, that at 4 o'clock we are going to be doing our newscast, so we still will have the latest headlines that you need, and we'll also have the latest first alert forecast. I'll be headed in studio then, but this is a live look over Mount Pleasant, and we still are waiting for this line to come through. We do have that severe thunderstorm warning that does include the city of Mount Pleasant. It also includes Shepherd, and that's soon going to be moving in on this camera here. So this is looking towards the west. We have those ominous dark looking clouds. It's still dry here on campus, but this is that severe thunderstorm that we're watching here on this camera. Here we are in downtown Saginaw, where we also have that severe thunderstorm warning. We just don't have the rainfall yet. So this camera is positioned looking north and west, but the storms are actually going to be coming in from the southwest. We still, though, can see those dark clouds in the distance. If you're maybe watching us at work and you're thinking, oh, I left my windows rolled down, it was nice and hot outside, head out to your car if you're in the Tri-Cities and make sure that you can go and roll those windows up. And actually, Joanne is just saying that tornado sirens are going off in Elma right now. We don't have any rotation there, but with the wind being strong, a lot of municipalities have been using sirens today, even in the western side of the state, because these winds that we've been seeing in these storms can do the same amount of damage as a weak tornado without spinning at all. So that's why we are providing you this coverage. That's why those tornado sirens are potentially going off in some spots. And we also are seeing power outages that are coming through. So even though we just have severe thunderstorm warnings, we do have for some of them considerable tags. So that means that we have winds that are a little bit stronger than what a normal severe thunderstorm warning would be. We've been seeing potentially wind gusts around 70 miles per hour as these have been coming through. So that's why we do have those considerable tags. So that actually does extend into Midland, Saginaw, and Bay. So that's the wind is why we're watching. And again, in Alma, we do have the storm that's pushing through. I don't see any rotation with that. And Stone's shaking his head no that he's not seeing that rotation either. So mainly I would assume that siren is going off simply for the strong winds, which again, these are damaging winds. They have been very strong. I'm glad to see though through Gratiot County and in Alma specifically that they have weakened quite a bit. So still, of course, we want you taking shelter. We want you being cautious. We want you to be safe. But we are not seeing a tornado in Gratiot County or even in Alma specifically. But thank you, Joanne, for letting us know. Where Sherry, she said, is where is something in Alma? Again, we don't have any rotation there. We just have the strong winds that are pushing through Alma right now. So that's probably why you are hearing those sirens coming through. We're seeing a lot of you asking what's going on in Alma. So again, it's the strong winds that are pushing through with this line. Again, they have weakened since we've been tracking them across the state. And you can even see here that that reflectivity is starting to drop. If you're really concerned about the winds, I would really be monitoring closer towards Shiawassee County. So closer into Perry, those strong winds in Owasso. The winds are moving through. And if you're in Bancroft, you are also going to have that steady push of winds here shortly. Bennington Township, the winds are probably just now making their exit and soon again going to be moving in towards Owasso and Corunna. So those are some of the communities. If you're in Bancroft, Vernon, Owasso, Corunna, Durand, even New Haven, those strong gusty winds are going to be headed in. And Stone, you kind of have a look here at some of these times that we can expect.
Yeah, so we've had a few people ask in chat about some of your cities around the area. What is the timing exactly? Again, this system at the last update was moving at 60 miles per hour. Now it is appearing to want to slow down a little bit. Some of the warnings down south of us have been slower, around 40 miles per hour. So that will change the exact timing of when this line reaches you. But areas like Owasso, you're going to be looking really in the next 5 minutes, if not already in Owasso, towards Flint around 4:15. Saginaw, you're going to be right around 4:05 to 4:10. I think Bay City, you'll be right around that same time, 4:05 to 4:10. As we move out farther to our east, Bad Axe, I know I've seen that a few times here. That most likely reaches you from about 4:55 to 5:05. Again, give or take a few minutes on either side of that because it is slowing down, speeding up. We really haven't been consistently there with that speed. Now, like I've highlighted a few times and like Diane highlighted, there are areas, we will be switching programming on our website. So if you're watching on WNEM.com and then the Watch Live tab, we'll be going into our 4 p.m. news. We are going to stay live on Facebook and YouTube through the remainder of this system as we continue to see severe thunderstorm warnings, just so we can keep you guys updated with what we are seeing. Obviously, breaking apart a little bit, that's maybe what we want to see. In terms of our wind velocities, I'll get to here in a second. As our computer comes back, what we're seeing is definitely the strongest winds down there in Shiawassee County. So if you live in areas like Perry, Durand, Bancroft, and obviously Perry, you're already windy, but Owasso, you're seeing wind starting to increase. Just along 69, be prepared for the strongest wind in that area. Again, Durand, you're going to be included in that. Vernon, Swartz Creek, you're in line to see some very strong wind gusts. But it's starting to shift south a little bit, so that's continued trend through the rest of our afternoon is maybe shifting to the south.
You just have some power outages.
Oh, did you have some power outages? Okay, sorry. We're just, again, this is on the fly. We're just going through some things. We'll pull up the power outage map real quickly if it loads. There it is. Just to show off where we're seeing power outages starting to pop up. So again, around that area, just around 127, but even towards St. Charles, just south of there, seeing some power outages. So be prepared for that. Chesaning, just to your west, you are seeing some power outages in that area. And then along Ithaca, really along 127. And this is something we'll see more and more of as our winds continue to be right around 50 to 65 miles per hour, and even a few areas up to 70 miles per hour. And as we look towards the south, we have our strongest wind gusts in Shiawassee County. We don't see any power outages there yet. I think there's definitely a possibility of that, though, as we get through the next couple of minutes. It takes a few seconds for this map to update, and I'll be going over it a few times through the rest of our stream. Just real quickly looking at some of the warnings that are being issued just to make sure. So that severe thunderstorm warning has now been extended into Genesee County. So I know we just got asked about Grand Blanc. You're included in that. Flint, Flushing, Davison, Mount Morris, another area. Birch Run, obviously that's in Saginaw County, but it is there. And that is until... And Holly, you're going to be eventually included in a warning if you're not already in that warning as we get through the next probably 20 to 30 minutes. But for that warning in Genesee County, it is moving right around 45 miles per hour, so it has slowed down. That is for wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. So weakening just a little bit. That's what we like to see. But again, for 60 miles per hour. So we pull that up here in Genesee County. That line's not quite to you, but it will get there. And then again, Saginaw County, you are starting to see that line move through. They just actually re-updated that line through Shiawassee County. That is for still wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour in penny-sized hail. So be prepared for that if you live in front of this line. Stephanie asks, are we going to avoid it up in Gladwin? I think this main line you quite possibly will avoid. You still have some isolated developments that are possible. Even right now, Gladwin's seeing maybe some rain falling. So just be prepared. You're looking in good shape, but it is there that you will have this possibility of seeing some development north of this line. And I'm going to keep an eye out on this northern half of the line because it is keeping strength or maybe even strengthening a little bit around Mount Pleasant, north of Mount Pleasant, and heading towards sort of Midland. So that'll be an area I just want to keep an eye out on. Again, we don't anticipate tornadoes with this, but definitely stronger wind with it as it moves to the east-northeast. Quickly, wind velocities still pretty strong with this line. So even north where we had some weakening at times towards Mount Pleasant, it may be starting to just pick up some energy within the atmosphere. Looking over in our chat, Alma tornado sirens going off again. Again, I think that's because we have that considerable tag in place there in Gratiot County, so they are just keeping it issued for you. And again, we just seen them update the Saginaw County severe thunderstorm warning, so we'll see how that's updated. Still till 4:30, so we still got some time for Bay, Saginaw, and Midland County. This storm, though, could contain wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour. So we just continue that trend of 70 mile per hour winds. Back to our Facebook chat just real quick. The Thumb area around Caseville, this line looks like it's going to reach you. I think the question will be how well does it hold its strength? I would still be prepared if you live in Tuscola County towards Caseville into Huron County. Be prepared for wind gusts really right around 60 to 70 miles per hour. We hope it continues to weaken or tries to weaken, but that is what the warnings are being issued for. You just got to be prepared for that threat here. Back just zooming in on some areas that you are going to start to see some rain. Chesaning, it's on you right now, so you need to be inside your house or indoors. Birch Run, Saginaw, Frankenmuth, I think Flushing to Flint. I'd get indoors right now while you can because this line is moving quick and it is going to reach you and give you those wind gusts up to 60 to 70 miles per hour possible. And we're hearing some rain now here in Saginaw. There's just one small cell that developed in Saginaw ahead of this line. So if it is raining now in Saginaw, you're in Saginaw, just know what's falling right now is not a part of that severe weather threat. That severe weather threat is moving in probably in the next 5 to 10 minutes. So just because this rain falls and maybe moves past, that doesn't mean it's gone. You're going to have that threat really show itself again in the next 5 to 15 minutes. And actually, we'll go over another timing of this just while we can, and I have some more updates on speed just so we have a better idea of what we're seeing. Real quickly, just going to highlight that. So still moving right around 60 miles per hour to the north-northeast. So we do have that here. So just to time it out a little bit more for anyone that is just tuning in. That is broken. That needs to be fixed. Just redraw it real quickly for us. So again, if you're in Saginaw, 4:15-ish, right around that time. I'd say 4:10 to 4:15. Flushing, you probably have about 5 minutes to get inside to avoid the strong wind. Bay City, right around 4:15 to 4:20. Lapeer, right around 4:35. If you live in Bad Axe, this line should reach you right around 5:05 to 5:10. Port Austin, right around 5:10 to 5:20. Like we've mentioned a few times, give or take a few minutes there, but strong wind continues to move in. And we look at our wind velocities. It's showing areas that are highlighting the strongest wind gusts. Still southern Shiawassee County towards that 69 corridor. So I think if you're anywhere in Genesee County, be prepared for it to get gusty. Flushing down to Grand Blanc, Flint, Fenton, Lake Fenton, those areas. It is going to get windy with this line. Looking over at our Facebook chat, Amber says it's very windy in Mount Pleasant right now. I live between Rosebush and Mount Pleasant, and it's super windy. I think that's right on track. What we're seeing with our radar. Kathy says thunder in Swartz Creek. You're seeing Kay, a lost satellite. Tiffany, my porch furniture is now rearranged here in Merrill. Strong and crazy winds. The storm is rolling in when some kids are getting home off the buses, so definitely a possibility.
Somebody said west of Mount Pleasant, the wind was so bad they had to pull off the road.
Okay, so Chief Meteorologist Chris Easlick just had a report west of Mount Pleasant, winds so bad people had to pull off the road. Again, that doesn't really surprise me with what we're seeing here on radar. Wind 50 to 60 miles per hour, and down towards Shiawassee County could be getting up to 60 to 70 miles per hour. So just be prepared for that. If you are anyone that's traveling, they may run into some very gusty conditions, reduced visibilities as rain starts to fall, even some hail with this. Back to our chat. So if the tornado is on the lowest, does that mean it won't happen? That doesn't mean it won't happen. We really haven't seen much rotation from this line. Again, knock on wood. We had this yesterday where things were not really rotating, got to the dome and started rotating. So we'll keep an eye on it. It's a small chance though. Most of our wind up in the atmosphere that would help develop tornadoes, that really is moving with the line. So you really needed to be moving sort of against that line to give us rotation. But still a possibility. We're still going to continue to watch out for that chance. Wind continues to be the biggest threat for this line as it moves through over the next the next hour to hour and a half. And again, if you are watching our website or watching on Facebook and YouTube and want to go over to our website, that is now switched over to our 4 p.m. newscast. So if you're looking for our news, 4, 5, 5:30, and 6, head over to our website at WNEM.com, watch live. There you can get more of our news. But we are going to stay on our live streams here on Facebook and on YouTube. It was trying to rotate here west on West Gary Road in Chesaning. Thanks for that report. We'll just see real quick what we're seeing in that area. But definitely getting windy. You could be getting some downbursts from this. So just quick burst of rain. That can make it appear that you're getting some rotation, or a tornado can cause damage. But not seeing much in terms of rotation right now, but we will continue to monitor this whole line because you can get some quick rotation as it moves east. Power is trying to go out right now. This is from Tina. That is here. But again, looking at this line, you are seeing now moving through really the heart of Shiawassee County, through this heart of Saginaw County. So like I've shown a few times, you do have areas like Bay City. You probably have about 5 to 10 minutes before this line reaches you. Midland, you have probably about 5 to 10 minutes as well. And Saginaw sitting at 5 to 10 minutes. Just real quickly looking through our Facebook chat. Just anything I missed, because we have had quite a bit of chats at this point into our stream. We'll just time this line out again. The last report was moving right around 60 miles per hour. In Saginaw, you probably have about 5 to 10 minutes. Flint, you're going to be looking at 5:15 or 4:15, I should say, to 4:20. Davison at 4:20 to 4:30. Lapeer right around 4:35 to 4:40. And Bad Axe right around 5 to 5:10. So just be prepared. You still got some time in Bad Axe out towards Huron County and Sanilac counties for this line at this point. And First Alert meteorologist Diane Phillips is joining me here at the desk as you just got done with your first hit on our 4 p.m. news and continue to just monitor this system.
Yes, so we are continuing to cover the storm, of course, on air and here online, continuing coverage online, but we are still doing your latest headlines from this afternoon. So make sure that you are staying here for the stream if you want that coverage. Just some of the things that I've been watching is that we do still, in that severe thunderstorm warning, we still have that considerable tag for Genesee County. So we still have the chance for our winds to be very strong. I was checking our sensor that we had in Owasso, and I didn't see any wind gusts that were kind of out of the ordinary yet. Of course, maybe getting some of those reports have been a little bit delayed because in Owasso, we've just seen kind of that wind roll through here just the last couple of minutes. So far, our winds are still really a big component. I'm happy to see, though, that the cluster of some of our strongest winds are actually closer towards Ingham and Livingston counties. So if you're a commuter and you're checking the forecast before you hit the roads and you're going to be traveling 96 or 23, you're really going to kind of be headed where we have the better chance of those winds. We were kind of watching those winds to really peak closer towards I-69 throughout Shiawassee and Genesee counties. But as the storm continues to evolve, it is kind of steering, at least kind of the strongest components are headed south and east, so closer and kind of in between I-69 and I-96. So if those are part of your commute or even 23, make sure that you're kind of checking in. Occasionally, of course, you got to be hands-free while you're driving, but at least checking radar before you hit the roads. And maybe you get out at 5 o'clock. Hopefully this will be out of here. We're anticipating these storms to be closer towards the thumb in the 5 o'clock time frame. So that is going to be kind of a help for commuters there along 75, 23, I-69, or even 96. Something also that I was looking at was our mesoscale analysis. So that's where we're seeing what ingredients that we have. We all still have some very good energy, but the energy really does kind of peak now south of here. So that's why I'm not surprised that we are seeing this cluster of storms kind of head across the southern half of mid-Michigan, but even outside, closer towards Livingston, and even potentially headed closer soon towards Oakland County. So we're still a little ways before it gets there. But even if you are in Fenton, make sure that you're still watching this forecast. Stay with us here. Of course, we'll be watching this. We do still have the severe thunderstorm warnings throughout Midland Bay and Saginaw counties. So that is going to be active until 4:30 p.m. So we still have 22 minutes for that. We're still watching for the winds. I'm glad to see, though, that the winds have been weaker within that portion of the storm. So still, if you're outside, maybe getting kids picked up from soccer practice or anything like that, and if you're in Midland, you're very soon going to start seeing that rain. If you're in Bay City, you still have just a few more minutes. And if you're in western portions of Saginaw, even closer towards Thomas Township, you have just a couple minutes before that rainfall moves in. So this is going to be very quickly moving into the Tri-Cities, but thankfully the winds have settled some from this. But really, you'll need to watch for the strong winds and, of course, the lightning within this. Stone's also getting us an update here of our power outages, as those have been kind of pushing with this line.
Yeah, so areas just around the LC and Ovid area, definitely seeing some of those power outages there. Just north of Owasso, again, towards Chesaning. Actually, we just had a large area just south of Saginaw that is just reporting a power outage. So be prepared for that. Definitely looking good in the sky. We just saw a photo sent to our chat there. Elma, some power outages out towards Shepherd. You also have power outages along M20. You're seeing some power outages there with West Isabella Road. So just something we're seeing along this line in Saginaw now, starting to see some reports of power outages. So I think that's going to continue to be something that increase. Okay, so they actually just extended now that severe thunderstorm warning now to Tuscola County. That continues to have a considerable tag. Let's look at that warning just for anyone. Again, that is until 5:15 p.m. It could contain wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour. It also could contain winds, hail up to pea size. So be prepared for that if you're in Tuscola County. So we'll just highlight that real quickly, get off of our Consumers Energy map, but that will be another area you definitely could run into some power outages at this point into the afternoon. Now, Saginaw, you have about probably less than 5 minutes before that line reaches you. If you're in Flint, you're definitely starting to see some rain in that. Let's actually pull up some of our cameras. This is our US 10 camera, just to show how dark it is in this area. Hasn't reached you yet, but it is going to get there. You can see it's starting to pick up that wind. That'll be something we watch. Now, we'll look at our Saginaw camera real quick, just to show you what that looks like. Again, rain hasn't reached us quite yet here, but it's on its way. And look at our camera. It is windy out here in Saginaw. Our camera is shaking. I do apologize for that. That camera, though, really starting to move. Let's see if we have another camera. Flint, let's go Vehicle City Harley-Davidson camera. This is a little bit farther south. Visibility is very low. If you're traveling right now or have anyone traveling through Flint, very, very hard rainfall. It is windy, and you don't see very far on that camera. So if you had travel plans, I would delay at this point with this line moving through. Luckily, as the line moves out, it should start to leave us, but be prepared for that. That is, again, 75 at Flint, Vehicle City Harley-Davidson with that Miller Road there. So be careful if you are going to be driving that direction. Let's pull downtown Flint up real quickly just to see what that camera looks like, because very much blowing. Not as bad in downtown Flint, but it is there.
Yeah, so First Alert meteorologist Diane Phillips back, and so we are still seeing that we do have a lot of rain that's coming here along our downtown Flint camera, and of course that I-75 camera is also still seeing heavy rain. We're hearing the rainfall here, so even if we don't have those super strong winds, the wind or the rain is going to be an issue for drivers here on 75. So make sure that you are slowing it down, because that's what we're going to be watching for as we go through kind of this next little time frame here. So, and even our Birch Run camera is really starting to pick up that wind. So that is going to be something that, of course, is going to be a hazard for us. Of course, we do still have those severe thunderstorm warning that did also just come in for Tuscola County, which Stone had already covered. But, take a look at our Saginaw camera, really picking up on a lot of wind here in downtown Saginaw as the storm's starting to push in. So this is why we just want you headed inside, because the wind is still going to be a large component. The rain, we're able to hear that kind of blowing against the building too. So we still are going to be seeing the conditions that make it quite treacherous for drivers outside.
And like Diane mentioned, they did, again, extend that severe thunderstorm warning into Tuscola County. You still have some time here before that comes in, but it is there. Let me time this out for you just real quickly. Let me see how fast it's moving so we can get exact timings or near exact timings of when the National Weather Service predicts this could reach you. So let me see if I can find that warning in the Detroit National Weather Service chat, because it is there to be issued. Yes, we've been seeing that. Chief Meteorologist Chris Easlick, he just came in, wind picking up here in Saginaw. Like I said, we can see it on our camera. Very, very heavy rain, reduced visibilities. The wind shaking our camera quite violently at times. So that's just a preview of what you're going to be seeing as this moves to the east-northeast. And for some reason, I can't get this camera, so he's just showing me a video at 55 miles per hour. So yeah, definitely blowing in the wind. If you are indoors ahead of this line, you're definitely going to get indoors as we see these strong winds. Real quick, 55 miles per hour, just so we can get you some more timings on this line as it moves to the east right now. So if you live in Caro, you're going to be looking at right around 435 to 440. Flint, again, it's moving in. You're seeing rain there. It's going to get windy if it isn't already. Lapeer at 435 to 440. Caseville, you're looking at 5 to 505. Bad Axe at 5 to 510. Port Hope at 525 to 530. So has slowed down a little bit, but it is there. We're looking over at our Facebook chat just because I haven't gotten to peek over there in just a little bit. Power went on and off a couple times on the west side of Saginaw by Old Town Drive. We have seen that reports. Phil says big gust, probably 50 miles per hour or so, just came through Midland. And now it's just rain with a few gusts. I think Midland so far has been lucky with the strongest wind staying to your south. You still want to stay indoors. You don't want to be in that wind, but it is there right now that you could get some rain, get some gusty conditions as this moves in. Just real quickly going to clear this out. Let me pull up. A wind speed right now in Saginaw. You have Lacey saying it's still wild in Chesaning. Yeah, that line's still moving through. So you probably have about 5 minutes. Then you'll just get some lighter rain in Chesaning. I think if you're in Elma, you're in Mount Pleasant, you're going to be in the good at this point. Wasso, just some rain over the next 5 to 10 minutes, but you're in the clear. So you probably can get away or come out of your safe spot if you were in that location. But the strongest line still continues right now, reaching the 75 corridor, Bay City. You probably have about 5 minutes before it reaches you, before it gets very windy in that area. Real quickly, I want to pull up the Flint camera just to see if that is showing us. Actually, just pull up a few cameras because this line hasn't changed that much. It's just going to be windy. So this is US 10. You can see reduced visibilities, very windy. The flagpole is just shaking there. So if you are traveling in that area, just be safe. You're going to have a tough time driving, especially high-profile vehicles. Those will have some issues with our wind blowing very hard right now. Let's look up Flint Vehicle City. This is a camera just like 5 minutes ago was very bad, and it has improved. That first round has moved out. But I will say Flint got some development out ahead that sort of gave you a preview of what's to come. I think if you live in Flint, you live in Grand Blanc, you're not done yet. You still have this line moving through. So just be prepared for that. Mount Morris, you still have some time. But we just did see some development out ahead of that main area that was really strong. Again, our Flint Vehicle City Harley-Davidson camera, you were really reduced visibilities in the main portion of the system. It hasn't even reached you yet, so just be careful with that. Going back to the north, I just seen a question about Vassar just a few seconds ago. You probably have about 5 to 15 minutes before that line reaches you. Millington, you're in the same boat, 5 to 15 minutes. Obviously moving through Saginaw. Bay City, you have about 5 minutes before that strongest wind does reach you. In terms of Midland, I did get asked that. The strongest of it is past you. You will see rain probably for another 30 minutes there. And then elsewhere towards this line, I think St. Charles, you're in the good. Chesaning, you're most likely in the good. Actually seeing that they're dropping that severe thunderstorm warning as it moves east. Flushing, you're going to have about 5 more minutes before that line moves its way out. So just stay in your home. Quite a bit of lightning still with this line as well. So that's also another danger with this. We got the wind, we have some hail, and we have the strong wind. Going back to our Facebook chat, Davison, you have probably about 20 minutes before you get some rain, so be prepared for that. Ben just said, just lost power for a minute in Saginaw. Thanks for that report. Montrose, you got a little bit of time here. Just real quickly checking my phone just for some updates as the National Weather Service sends them just a little bit quicker there. You might be in an area, yeah, you still got some time. You're probably seeing the heart of it in Montrose right now. Hopefully not seeing the strongest winds. Carol says windy in Midland. That, again, doesn't surprise me. Let's pull up our wind velocities just to see what we're seeing. So luckily the strongest wind that we were seeing down towards Perry and Williamston, that continues to move south. So if you have any family members towards Heartland, I think Holly, you may be in this area or should be in this area, White Lake, Milford. So that's out of the TV5 viewing area, but still there that if you have family members, they need to be prepared for those stronger wind gusts at this point with this line. But back to our pinpoint Doppler, and what it is showing us is just really continuing to see that line move east. And again, this is our Flint Vehicle City Harley-Davidson camera, where it is starting to shake again as that line approaches you. So be prepared there. If you have anyone traveling in that location, just be prepared. Back to our Facebook chat real quickly. What about Gladwin? You will have some isolated cells, but the main portion of this severe weather is definitely to your south. Still be prepared though. We definitely are seeing some development on the northern side of this line. Fenton, it's getting windy there. If it isn't already, be prepared for that. Back down south, how much longer for Saginaw? I think you're going to be looking at about, 5 to 10 minutes. So just stay indoors, stay prepared for that at this point into our afternoon. Birch Run just got hammered. Again, that's right where that line is. So it doesn't surprise me that Birch Run, you're seeing a very heavy rain. You're probably seeing some heavy wind. And now it is starting to enter Tuscola County. So if you live there in Akron, you live in Unionville, Vassar, you're going to be up next. Millington, Mayville. Those are the areas that, hey, you're going to see our next round of rain and next round of strongest wind gusts. So be prepared for that. Luckily for you, in those areas, doesn't appear to have any kind of rotation right now, and obviously not seeing hail. That was an area yesterday that got hailed out, especially towards Akron and Unionville, towards Cass City along M81. Going back to our Facebook chat, no rain yet in Grand Blanc, but very dark. It's definitely on the way for you in Grand Blanc. I'd give you probably about 5 to 15 minutes still. As we look towards West Branch and Ogama, you're in good shape. Still definitely getting some isolated chances towards Ogama County, but most of that severe stuff has continued to stay to our south. But we'll watch it, we'll monitor it, see how things evolve over the next hour or so. Yeah, it is definitely windy like a tornado in Frankenmuth. Again, that doesn't surprise me. We're seeing a lot of that wind up aloft get pushed down as this cold front moves through, so you are going to get windy. This is just the front edge of the storm here in Birch Run, isn't it? Well, that's where you're going to see the strongest wind, and that strongest setup is on the front edge. So Birch Run, you still probably have 5 to 15 minutes of strong wind gust and heavy rainfall. After that, just a lighter rain. Let's take a look. This is that Flint Vehicle City Harley-Davidson camera. It is starting to lose visibility again, starting to get windy, and just there that you need to be safe. If you have anyone traveling, which I know people are getting out of work at this time, and they're starting to get there, just make sure they're prepared. Maybe they can stay at work a little bit longer. Don't really want to be driving in this, but we do see a lot of people out on that road there. So just be careful with that if you do have to travel right now. Let me pull up another camera. I do want to look at Saginaw real quickly as we are seeing sort of the back end of the main wave. Not as windy. You can definitely tell once that main wave moves through, it's still raining hard, but the wind has calmed down. Where is our Flint camera? That would be our next view, downtown Flint. Just to have a preview of what you're seeing. Definitely windy out there. And definitely some heavy rainfall, but doesn't seem to be the worst conditions in downtown Flint. You may want to just be prepared, though, to stay indoors. I would say that line still's got some time, probably another minute before it reaches you at this point. Back over to our Facebook chat. How long would this storm be in Flint? Probably another 5 to 15 minutes, maybe a little longer than that. That southern side just seems to be a bit slower as it moves in. When is it supposed to move out of Owasso? Well, the main area of this storm is out of Owasso. At this point, you are in the clear for severe weather in Owasso. It does look like you'll get probably another 30 minutes of rain. So you are in the good in Owasso. Perry, you're in the clear. I think Durand, you're probably sitting in good shape right now. Chesaning, out to Midland, Freeland, I think you're in the good. Still going to have some rain, but nothing severe. Mount Pleasant, you're in the clear as well for this severe weather chance. One thing I'm going to watch out for, just that development to the north continues to be something we're seeing. So if you live in Gladwin, you live in West Branch, out towards Lake George, those could be areas that you do have some rain. We pull that up real quickly here. To the north, you definitely have some rain trying to move itself in right now. Just real quickly looking at my mobile device just to see if we're having any other warnings be issued. Doesn't look like it. Scroll back down. Are we going to have a tornado? It's a small chance, what I'll say. I'm not going to count it out, but so far we haven't had really a good signal of rotation along this line. So that's always a good sign. Obviously things can change, especially as it gets into the thumb. That's an area that you get that cold water off of the bay, you get some of that interaction, and you're just going to have to be careful for a quick spin up. But so far, we have not have a tornado warning with this line. That's a good sign. I think we'll hold on to that, but we'll continue to monitor as we move east. Back to our chat, Saginaw, right now the main area is definitely moved out. I think you're still going to see rain though. In terms of severe weather, you should be in pretty good shape in Saginaw. In probably 3 to 5 minutes, you'll be good. Raining sideways in Beaverton, thank you for that report, Smith. It doesn't surprise me that it's just a downpour there. And is there a cam in the Beecher area? Right now, our only cam is just that Flint Vehicle City camera and the downtown Flint camera. We'll pull those up real quick, just again, to just give you a look. Actually, let's look at Birch Run, because that is an area that's seeing that heavy rain, that strong wind. So definitely still slow travel. Be prepared for that if you are going to be out there. Just let this move by. As we get through the next hour, probably by 6 p.m., areas like Flint, Saginaw, Bay City, out to Owasso, we're going to be in the good. So if you have travel plans for today, I would just hold off a little bit longer if you can. If you can stay at work, maybe you're getting out about right now, just stay there. It hit Coleman about 10 minutes ago with a very strong winds. It's still raining hard. Again, that really doesn't surprise me. That rain could continue for 20 to 30 minutes. Elijah says, how bad will Flint get? Again, wind gust at 55 to 65 miles per hour, definitely a possibility, and heavy rainfall. Here in Vassar, from a few people saying it is there in Vassar, and as we zoom in on radar, it's going to show that it is moving in Vassar. I think if you're in Caro, you're in Mayville, just be prepared for this line to reach you as it continues to move that direction. And let's find the timing actually real quick from our squall line tracker. So it does have a little bit of a bow wanting to form, but Caro, you're probably looking at 4:35 to 4:40, so you have about 10 minutes to be prepared for that. Almont, you're looking at 4:45 to 4:55. Bad Axe at 5:08. So right around 5:05 to 5:10. So still got some time here. Hoping it does continue to weaken as it moves that direction. But obviously, like I just mentioned, if you're in Caro, you're definitely going to see some stronger wind gusts. They have kept that severe thunderstorm warning in both Tuscola County and now Lapeer County being issued there. So and that just got issued. Let's just see when that is. Lapeer County, you're going to see a severe thunderstorm warning till 5:30. So again, 5:30, it is going to be wind still up to 70 miles per hour. So that is the concern. Hadley at 4:45, North Branch around 4:50, Brown City around 5:15. Going back to our Facebook chat, Lexi lost power in Pinconning a little bit. Again, high winds are there. Will the high winds hit Munger? You definitely will have that chance if it's not already hitting you. Wind is still going, but looks to be calming here in Birch Run. Thank you for that report, Zach. Again, that doesn't surprise me. That main line is now just to the east of you. Cherry had Stone had a down power line, or had a downpour. Sorry, I'm reading two chats at once. Stone had a downpour here in Gladwin. It looks like we get more. I think you definitely have a chance to get some more in Gladwin over the next 5 to 15 minutes. You just have some development along that line. So just be prepared for that. I think towards West Branch, if you live in that area, you also have some rain on the way, but nothing severe with that area. Where can I send photos and videos? Well, one place you can send them, you can head over to any of our Facebook pages with the TV5 First Alert Weather Team. Chief Meteorologist Chris Easlick, that's going to be a good place to send any of your photos you have. You can message him. You can message me on Facebook. We also have a send photos section on our website. You can send them there. But if you want it a little bit closer, you can send them over to Chris Easlick. You can also go to our TV5 First Alert weather app and then scroll down on that. There is a submit your photos area there. So definitely get those in so we can show them. Wendy says tree down in my road in Mount Pleasant. We're getting a few reports of trees down. So just getting a report here, M65, 62 mile per hour wind gust. So right on line. At the airport?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. In Freeland Airport, there 62 mile per hour wind gust as that line moved through. So doesn't really surprise us as we were getting warned up to 70 miles per hour. Actually, that's a pretty good cell. If you're in Caseville right now, let me know what you're seeing. Obviously, be indoors, be safe. There is no warning for that. But that cell popped up fast and really is just a trio of cells that is moving through. So it may get windy there in Caseville. Isn't warned. Something we'll have to watch for, though. But our next areas that we got to be looking out for, Davison, that line's going to be on top of you here in the next 5 minutes. Otisville, Millington, Vassar, you're seeing that rain right now. Mayville up to Caro. If you live in Akron, that's an area. You probably have a few minutes here before that rain moves in. Unionville, you're also going to see some more of that rain, some stronger wind. Luckily, no hail to be added on to you. I think Cass City, you have some time. Owendale, also, you have about 10 to 20 minutes before it reaches you, but definitely going to be the windy parts. What time is the bad part of the storm going to hit? If you were in Flint, that's hitting you right now. The good sign is it's weakening just a little bit as it moves to the west, or to the east, I mean. So hopefully that continues and just doesn't look to be the most impressive wind gusts are definitely just south of us towards Oakland County, towards Livingston County. So if you're in that area, you have family members there, they're seeing it, but definitely weakening just a little bit for our area. Still, though, have to be on the safe side right now. When will the thunderstorm warning end in Flint? I think you're probably going to see it end in the next 5 to 15 minutes. Once that line moves through, they have been expiring the warnings here this afternoon. It's been the trend. And actually, they have expired it in Saginaw, Bay, and Midland County. So you're in the clear. At this point, you are still going to see rain. So be prepared for that here through about 5 to 6 p.m. It should be on the lighter side, though. Still rumbles of thunder, though. We're hearing it here in our studio. And First Alert meteorologist Diane Phillips, she has a few updates here for us.
Yeah, just to kind of help Stone out here and hopping on between our newscasts and in between on our live stream. I was also just looking at some of the ingredients that we still have left, and we still have a pretty good environment into the thumb, so I anticipate continuing to see those warnings be issued from the National Weather Service into the thumb. So if you're in Huron or Sanilac counties, just kind of be prepared, be waiting. I anticipate those to be coming in. Once kind of this system comes through, this first line, this eats up a lot of the energy. So behind it, we don't have a lot to work with. So once this is done, we really struggle to rebuild. So I know a lot of you were worried earlier today about being able to get some sleep in tonight or worried about severe weather when that's coming through, but we shouldn't have any severe weather threats for you tonight. So the good news is that once this kind of passes, this is kind of the headliner of the day when we're looking at the forecast. But there were some of the times that we are anticipating for the storms to come through. We actually, as Stone was mentioning at MBS Airport there in Freeland, we did have that 62 mile per hour wind gust be reported there. So we had that come through. Also, here's some of those times. So in Caro, around 4:42 p.m. So in about 10 or so minutes, if you are in downtown Caro, Sebewaing, you still have at least a little bit, about 15 minutes from now, because that's at 4:47. And then in Imlay City, around 4:56, and Sandusky, about 10 minutes after 5 o'clock. Very similar timing for Bad Axe as well. So we'll have that around 5:11 in Bad Axe. And then Croswell, so getting closer towards the shoreline at about 7:15, and then 7:30 for Port Hope, almost right before it goes out over the water. So it's really into the thumb that we do have just this last little bit. Also, we are getting some reports, of course, of some power outages, and we have seen some trees down being reported throughout portions of mid-Michigan. So actually there, because of a wire down on our roadway, and that's going to be at King and Dixie. So Dixie Highway at the intersection of King and Dixie, there's a wire down over the roadway. And so Bridgeport, their fire department is responding. Of course, Consumers is also going to be headed there. We're also seeing reports closer towards Essexville of some trees that have been downed, and some fairly healthy trees as this wind pushed through. Of course, there in Freeland when we had that 62-mile-per-hour wind gust come through. Also, we're seeing along M46 in Fordney, so that's going to be on the west side there of Saginaw. They're reporting that we have some power outages and then also some trees that are down in that area. Okay, so we're also getting some reports, even coming in towards and closer towards downtown Saginaw, of some impacts. So again, this is why we thankfully have these warnings out ahead. So for folks in Lapeer County as well, make sure that you're just using this time to your advantage to head inside. I know this is kind of a busier time with people getting out of work and picking kids up from school and just kind of transitioning from our daytime activities before we maybe are even home for the day. So just note that we do still have the winds that can be up to 70 miles per hour as this comes through. So I know you may be thinking that, oh, this isn't that bad, but once that push really comes in, it's very strong for just a few minutes before it does start to move in. We actually had Lori, she said, here comes the wind in Otisville. And even around Gladwin and Clare counties, we're still seeing some storms there. This is just kind of pushing out ahead of it. This is still that same line that's kind of bowing, but thankfully we are kind of seeing that push of wind. It's only here for a little bit of time before it does start to cut back. Joe in Linwood, so even though your severe thunderstorm warning did expire about 5 minutes ago, you're still picking up on the wind and the heavy rainfall. So that's about to push out of Linwood, but it is still there. And then, of course, in West Branch, we're getting some reports of some strong winds there as well. So we are still seeing mainly wind and heavy rainfall. We haven't had too many hail reports within this storm, and also we don't have any rotation. So that means that the tornado threat is low. We were forecasting that the tornado threat was going to be very little to even none in the forecast, and that is still holding here. So we've been still picking up on quite a bit of rainfall. We can see, Sunny, that you would like to see that downtown Flint camera. So we have our cameras all throughout mid-Michigan. So here's a view here where we're still seeing that heavy rain. So this is kind of as that line's pushing through. Sadly, they don't have the flags out there on the one building, so we could kind of have a gauge of what the winds are here in downtown. But you can still see the heavy rainfall because we can only kind of see down, Saginaw Street just a little bit there. We can kind of get a good block, but even that second block starts to get a little bit fuzzy. This is our Vehicle City Harley-Davidson camera. And definitely heavy rain. People are going slower on 75. They're spraying quite a bit. So just keep in mind of hydroplaning for any of our drivers that you're still going to have that. So make sure that you're just traveling at slower speeds. I know we love to drive fast, but with the heavy rainfall, it's going to be a little bit tricky here to get that done. Here's also another update just as that line is coming into Cairo here shortly. We're picking up on heavy rain right now in Millington and Vassar, and even in Davison and in Grand Blanc. So this is almost past downtown Flint. So that's just going to continue to push eastward. We do have some storms that are kind of popping up out ahead of this. So this is still where we have a pretty good environment is ahead of these storms. Actually, Stone, can we get a temperature check just to kind of show maybe our environment here for people to see because I anticipate it's cooled out quite a bit since this has come through. Okay. All right, so First Alert Chief Meteorologist Chris Eastlake also informing us here that the severe thunderstorm watch in West Michigan has been canceled. So we still have the watch that's active for us. That is supposed to go until 8 o'clock. That will more than likely be canceled before then, and they are probably going to be progressing just from west to east to continue to see those drop. So some of our sensors still haven't updated, but you'll see that we still have mid to upper 80s in the thumb because we haven't had those storms come through. Check out Flint, 67. So that rain has really cooled us out. It's 68 at MBS Airport there in Freeland. So some of our sensors are really kind of picking up on that kind of chilled air since these storms have pushed through. So that's why we're just going to be seeing that lack of energy as these are coming through. And a lot of power outages are starting to pop up throughout portions of Saginaw and even Midland counties, and even some coming in just south of Linwood, just kind of north of Bay City. We're seeing some power outages. So that's why we're first alerting the wind, is because that's going to be a really kind of that strong component. So for folks who are maybe using DTE out into the thumb through Tuscola, Sanilac, Huron counties, just note that power outages have been to your west. So that's going to be a possibility for us as that continues to head eastward. Here's a look at those storms that are coming in towards Tuscola and Lapeer counties. So we're going to be seeing those warnings go until about 5 o'clock. So we still have 25 minutes for even the warning that we have in Genesee County. The 5:15 is going to be the warning for Tuscola County. And then if you're in Lapeer, the rain's just coming in your direction. So hold on tight there. You're going to continue to see that. So we are noticing, though, that some of these winds are starting to weaken. We talked about this a little bit earlier, that the winds were definitely stronger, closer towards 127. But still even able to hold on to some of those winds into the Tri-Cities at 60 miles per hour. That's still enough to meet that severe thunderstorm criteria. So that's why kind of that purple shading here on our map shows that we do have the chance for those winds to be even stronger than 60 miles per hour. As these storms come through, it's mainly been the wind and the heavy rainfall that we have been tracking. So if you are in Millington, Vassar, Mayville, Otisville, Davison, Grand Blanc, you're kind of seeing that heavy rain right now. If you're in Lapeer, you're going to be seeing that here shortly. And even closer towards Brown City, you're saying it's raining here. Yeah, we have that one cell, just some popcorn rain that's been coming in out ahead of it. So that has just been kind of what we've been tracking here today. It looks like Stone has an update for us on those severe thunderstorm watches.
Yeah, like it was mentioned just a few minutes ago, they will start to cancel the watches from the west to the east. Right now, Clare, Isabella, and Gratiot counties, you have been canceled from that severe thunderstorm watch. With that environment starting to cool off, this has moved out. You are in the clear. I think Gladwin, Midland, and even Saginaw down to Shiawassee, you should be in better shape. More than likely, we'll see those get canceled very quickly here over the next couple of minutes.
And one thing I'm noticing, Stone and Diane, that might be relevant for some areas in the thumb, especially, and I know it's hard to believe considering some of the wet weather we have had over the last month. I'm seeing a lot of blowing dust from a lot of these dry fields that have had a chance to dry out. So I know people who are driving probably aren't listening to us right now, but if there is anybody who you know that might be out in the field doing some work there, I have seen a lot of lower visibility coming with some of these winds because of that blowing dust, just because of how strong this wind has been. So just wanted to pass that along, and it might even look sometimes like there's debris flying around just because of how much the wind is kicking up that dirt. So that's another thing. If you're trying to watch these storms outside, you definitely need to be prepared, especially in those open field areas, from dirt getting in your eyes and things like that. So just know that this afternoon. And if you know anybody working, like I said, working in a field or working outside in that area, blowing dirt, blowing objects in those fields could be a hazard that we're kind of not thinking about today.
Yeah, and I know I've seen a few reports, thank you, Chris, for that update. I've seen a few reports of people saying that they've had dust and being picked up by this wind. So thank you for those reports. If you do have any more reports, just let me know. You can head over to our Facebook page. You can say it in our Facebook chat. You can also message any of our Facebook pages here at the TV5 First Alert Weather Team as we go through the rest of our afternoon with that line. Just real quickly going to look at my messages just to see if we have anything sent to myself. So I don't have anything on my Facebook, but make sure you get those photos in. You can do that again on our app, the TV5 First Alert Weather app. There, if you scroll down, you definitely can. There's a submit your photos, submit your videos tab that will send you over to where you can do that. But back to our radar, Caro, it is going to start to get windy there. I see that over in our Facebook chat. I think if you're in Unionville, you're in Akron, that's actually moved in pretty quickly, and it's going to move out just as quickly as it moved in. If you're in Kingston, you're in Mayville, you're in Cass City, you probably have, or at least Cass City and Kingston, you probably have about 5 to 15 minutes. Owendale, I think you're probably looking at 5 to 15 minutes before that line does reach you, and hopefully is weakening. And as we are speaking of the thumb, northern Huron County has now been issued with that severe thunderstorm warning. So let me look at some of the details for that one, as it has just been issued by the National Weather Service. So again, for Huron County, you're looking at a severe thunderstorm warning that will go until 5:45 p.m. You're going to be seeing wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. It is still moving at 55 miles per hour to the northeast. If you live in Pigeon and Owendale, you're looking at 450. Caseville at 455. Bad Axe right around 5. Ubley and Port Austin at 5:10, Port Hope at 5:25, and Harbor Beach at 5:30. So those are just some of the timings for you as we get here over the next hour or so. You still got some time to prepare, but you're going to want to get indoors. Winds up to 60 miles per hour are definitely a possibility right now. If you're in Saginaw, you're in the clear. If you're in Bay City, looks like you're in the clear. Flint, you actually still have probably another 5 to 10 minutes. That cell line is slowed down just a little bit more down to the south at this point. So just be prepared for that. Still seeing some heavy rainfall. Owasso, Chesaning, you are in the clear down to Perry and Morris. You're also in the clear. Quickly, I seen a report. The wind was blowing really hard in Gladwin just a few seconds ago. And what you see is definitely have a few cells moving through that line. It has formed a little bit better to the north, so Gladwin doesn't surprise me. You did see some of those stronger wind. I think if you live in Holton Lake, you live in West Branch, you live in Rose City, you're going to have some windy conditions over the next probably 30 to 40 minutes. So let's actually time this out. It's a little bit slower, my guess, but we'll just time it out at 55 miles per hour to the north. So again, Whittemore, right around 5:01 to 5:10. Tawas City, you're going to be looking at 5:10 to 5:15. Oscoda at 5:25. Gaylord, a little bit out of the area, but maybe you have family members there. 4:45 to 4:50. So just be prepared for that. You're good, Cherry. You're good, Cherry. I am sorry that wind is done here in Gladwin. But you will get windier. You should have had some wind. That doesn't surprise me. You'll just have rain for the next couple of minutes. And then if you live in those areas, again, no severe thunderstorm warnings, but definitely could get windy. And the clouds just busted open here in Rose City. You definitely will get some rain there in Rose City and then eventually get another round of rain. You're not done yet. You're going to have sort of multiple rounds there in Rose City. Right now there's one moving through, and then you'll have the second round. But again, no severe thunderstorm warnings to our north. That's a good sign. We just continue to see severe thunderstorm warnings within Huron, Tuscola, and Lapeer counties. That is, again, for wind gusts up to 60 to 70 miles per hour. Those will continue as long as those are moving through. Again, that Huron County severe thunderstorm warning, that goes until 5:45. It definitely could get canceled a little bit quicker than that as this line moves through. And you've had a few cells. You obviously had that special weather statement through western Huron County. So you've had some prep. That is, again, something we're going to see. Looking at Facebook, what about, I'm assuming that means Mayville. You just edited it. That's good timing for me. You're definitely going to see that rain chance right about now. You probably have 2 to 3 minutes. It's going to get windy. It's going to be raining hard. You could see wind gusts up to 55 to 60 miles per hour, but I think it's going to move out quickly. Moving at 55 miles per hour, and then after that, you should be in the clear. The big thing that we're seeing right now is once you get windy, once you get this main line that we've been highlighting here, that's right now just through Tuscola and Lapeer counties, and now even Genesee County still. Once this line moves out, you're in the good. Like, there just really isn't the energy on the backside of that line. So that's why we don't see any warnings, and that is why they're slowly canceling those severe thunderstorm watches on the western half of the state. Again, if you're in Gratiot, you're in Isabella, you're in Clare counties, those have been canceled At this point, severe thunderstorm warnings, those have been canceled within Saginaw, Bay, and Midland counties. Just real quickly, looking at some of the storm reports across the region. We've been getting a few emails here. You have power lines down in Mount Morris and Flushing. Flushing Township has some power lines there. Gaines Township, you also have a power line down in Morris and Reed Road. You have at Roosevelt Avenue in Mount Morris, we have a power line down there. And then again, Flushing, you also have power lines down in Flushing. We're getting more reports. Back to Facebook real quickly. Here in Bangor Township, windy, rain, thunder, lightning lights are out. Luckily, though, you should be in better shape in Bangor Township. Just get some light rain, so have the rest of our afternoon to hopefully just recover from anything. Consumers Energy or DTE, based on where you are at in the state, definitely going to be able to get out tonight and hopefully repair a lot of those power outages that are continuing to pop up. So here's our Consumers Energy map. It does show Saginaw out to St. Charles, Chesaning area. Then if we move north, not as bad. I think that's a sign of how it weakened on the north side of the cell, but definitely down to the south. You are seeing power outages, and luckily Flint hasn't reported many. If you live in Flint and you have power, let me know, because that area really isn't reporting many right now, but that line is still moving through. It may take a few minutes to report that line or any of those power outages that may be there. Just quickly looking through my email just to see any more reports as we get them. Looks like we have a tree fallen on Park Avenue and Carroll Road. That's another tree. Again, you're seeing a lot of tree reports. That's again in Bay City. So Park Avenue, Carroll Road is blocked because of falling trees. So be prepared for that if you do have to travel that way. It's just the wind gusts are definitely a sight for many areas. And I see the question, it looks like it's weakening a bit as it enters Huron County. It actually does appear that way. That northern edge may just be sort of weakening as it just moves into an environment maybe not as healthy, but we can see there still is quite a bit of health from this line from Caro down to Lapeer. So continue to be prepared for that as we continue with this line. If you live in Mayville, you're seeing, I think, Cass City, you have about 5 to 10 minutes, if not less than that. Kingston, you're looking at about 5 to 10 minutes. Deerfield Township, you're seeing that rain. Goodland, you probably have 5 to 10 minutes. Brown City's probably about 15 to 20 minutes. So that's a good thing. It is moving pretty quickly, and it is, I think, weakening just a little bit. I think that's a trend we're seeing. Hopefully we continue to see that trend. Real quickly, looking at Facebook chat, Rose says, thank goodness I am staying in the woods out here and my camper is surrounded by trees. So yeah, if you're out in Gladwin, you're up camping up north, it's a good thing to see that that is weakening for anyone that is out there. Chris says, not windy in Akron, I'm on 25. Yeah, I think Akron, you're going to be in the clear. Shiawassee County in the clear. Nick, you are in the clear there in Shiawassee County. So if you live in Saginaw, Shiawassee, you're in the clear. You live in Bay County, Midland County, Isabella to Gratiot, you're in good at this point in the afternoon. And just real quickly checking something. Sorry, just had a notification I wanted to check real quick, but it doesn't look to be anything in our area or our neck of the woods. Cheryl says, still raining hard here in Burton with some thunder and some wind gusts, still have power. Yeah, that area towards Burton, you definitely could just last a little bit longer. The southern side of this line just slowed down a little bit as it moved through Genesee County. So maybe just lingering a little bit more right now. Just real quickly looking at some of the emails I'm getting in. Again, trees down here in Saginaw and Janes Avenue. Actually, it's a power pole down on the roadway. So just be prepared. If you have travel plans, 5, 6 p.m., maybe you're heading home, maybe you're heading for work late in the night. Just slow it down. Be prepared to have to take a detour as we have power lines down, we have trees down. We may have some flooded roads because we have had some heavy rainfall across the region. And for anyone joining, we are just continuing to monitor this line of showers and thunderstorms moving through Tuscola, Lapeer, and now Huron County. If you live in Caseville, you'll probably see this line in, we'll say 5 to 15 minutes, maybe 10 to 20 minutes. Bad Axe, you're probably looking at another 15 to 20. Owendale, it's right at you at this point. Cass City, it's looking to be right on top of you. Kingston, it's there right now. One thing that's good is they've continued to drop those considerable tags, so that just tells us these storms are weakening as they move to the east. Looks bad coming into Marlette. Yeah, you are going to be in an area that could see gusty conditions. You have about 5 to 15 minutes there, so be prepared for that if you live along M53, or if you know anyone that's traveling along M53. It is going to get windy, so just be prepared. You may want to stay in your home or at work just a little bit longer, but it is a quick moving line, still moving right around 55 miles per hour, and that will help us out. Just clearing some more people. If you live out in Clare County, you live in Clare, you live in Mount Pleasant, you're in the clear. I've had a few people ask me, I think Midland, you're in the clear, at least for the severe weather chance. You're definitely still going to see some pretty moderate rainfall possible behind this system. But again, we don't anticipate any severe weather behind this main line that is moving through. Dark towards the south of Caseville. Let's see what Caseville, your timing is. Definitely maybe just seeing that weakening as it gets closer to Caseville. Still be prepared for windy conditions though. And actually they just now pushed that severe thunderstorm warning into Sanilac County. Not a surprise that they are just continuing with this trend. Even if it is weakening a little bit, it still is there. For that warning for Sanilac County, that goes until 6:15 p.m. You're still looking at the possibility of wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. It actually has slowed down a little bit. That warning is for 40 miles per hour to the east. So let's time this out just real quickly for anyone that is still here watching on the eastern half of the state into the thumb. And real quickly, 40 miles per hour. So I think Cass City, it's going to be here in the next 5 minutes if it's not already there. Again, we have some delays in some of our streaming platforms. Bad Axe, you're at 5:10 to 5:20. Sandusky, 5:15 to 5:25. Deckerville, right around 5:20 to 5:25. Fort Gratiot, 5:35 to 5:40. Port Huron at 5:45 to 5:50. So we're definitely starting to see this wrap up, and we're going to continue to watch this as it gets through. Once we see that line move itself across into the water, that's where we will be ending the stream. But we still probably have about another 30 minutes with this to go. So still be prepared if you live in Sanilac County. I think Huron County, even though it is trying to weaken a little bit on that north side, still be prepared, especially towards Bad Axe, Ubly, you're going to be included in that. And then Imlay City, you're also going to be included within that warning and included in that zone. And that will be right around 5. So you got about 5 to 10 minutes there. Actually, I'm going to quickly pull up wind velocities to see if there's anything really getting highlighted with that. Still think 50 to 60 miles per hour is what we're going to be seeing with this line. So it doesn't look as impressive as it did earlier. Luckily, we haven't seen any reports of those 80-mile-per-hour winds like areas of Kent County got south of Grand Rapids. But like we did mention earlier, MBS there in Freeland did have a report of 62 miles per hour. So we're right in that range, 60 to, we'll say 55 to 65 miles per hour with that. Looking over at our chat, that was a nasty storm going across the Z Bridge. Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to go across. I know people that don't want to go across the Z Bridge when it's nice out. So that would have not been fun with our strong wind blowing in to be on the Z Bridge or really on any bridge across the region. Just not a fun time. In a high-profile vehicle, I'd be very scared with that strong wind. And just highlighting, even though you are in the clear of severe weather, I think Saginaw, Bay City, down to Chesaning, Midland, you're going to see some moderate rainfall right now. So just be prepared for that. But again, nothing severe expected. Quickly wanted to highlight, actually, a special weather statement has now just been issued for north of the bay. So if you live in Aranac, Iosco, and Ogama counties, a special weather statement has been issued. So that tells us they don't actually anticipate that severe weather with that, but still stronger storms. And could it become severe? Definitely a possibility. Let me see if I can find the details on that special weather statement north of the bay. Standish, you're seeing some rain. Tawas City, you're going to see some rain. Whittemore, also seeing some rain in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Real quickly, just trying to find that special weather statement. It's getting buried a little bit in our National Weather Service chat. Let me see if I can just find the details by clicking on it. Sometimes that's a little bit quicker. So that special weather statement, that is going to 6 p.m. for Aranac, Iosco, and Ogama counties. Again, that is going to be for wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour. So again, if you live in Whittemore, you live in Tawas City, Standish, you're seeing that right now. You're going to want to get indoors as we get through the next hour or so. But again, is a little bit weaker, not as good of energy there north of the bay at this point. But that, again, goes till 6 p.m. And just zooming back out real quickly here, just at our line. As we start to hopefully get to the end of this round of showers and thunderstorms, and just want to see what this notification is. That is just a special marine warning. Lapeer isn't seeing much, just rain and thunder. That's a good thing. At this point, you are probably through of the main line. And again, it just doesn't look to be that put together. So I think Lapeer County, you're probably going to be in good shape. Still gusty, though, especially towards Brown City. That could be an area that gets gusty. Downlines and a transformer blew in Caro. Thank you for the report. We'll try to get that in. We're seeing lots of reports of damage of small trees, power lines, obviously transformers. That was something we saw this morning. But right now, that line continues to move through Tuscola County. They've actually canceled it for the western half of Tuscola County. So Caro, I think you're going to be in the clear in about 5 minutes. Mayville, you probably are in the clear at this point, but still stay indoors for about 5 minutes. Then I think if you're in Argyle, you're in Sandusky, Brown City, those will be areas. You're next up. Bay City, you're also going to be next up in about 5 to 10 minutes, so just be prepared for that. Caseville, you might get lucky here. That line just wants to stay to your south. Still be prepared for some rain. You've had a few cells move in there. I think Port Austin, you end up being a little bit farther north for this line, but definitely still get some rain. Bad Axe, like I just mentioned, you have about 5 to 10 minutes. Definitely going to get windy, definitely going to see some rainfall. What about Midland? Midland, you're in the clear at this point. You definitely have moderate rainfall out there. But in terms of our severe weather chances, I think that's pretty much gone. Really, just things cooling off at this point. Let me just see. They just issued a new severe thunderstorm warning. I think it's to our south. It is just out of our area, but that's going to be for sort of Macomb County, Macomb County and St. Clair County. So not in our TV5 viewing area, but still an area that we know we have some viewers and have some people maybe watching here on Facebook. Another severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for that area. Going back to our Facebook chat, tree down in Unionville. Thanks for that report. If you have any photos, send those in. You should be in the clear in Unionville. Lapeer County, almost in the clear. I'd say if you live in western Lapeer County, you're most likely in the clear, but Almont, Imlay City, Brown City, you still have some time here before that wind shows up and those heavy rainfalls do show up. Lapeer, you're also looking to be in good shape. Didn't clear you off earlier. Flint, Grand Blanc, Fenton, Flushing, Mount Morris, Birch Run, Frankenmuth, you are in the clear for severe weather. Just some rain through the next hour or so. So that's a good thing. We're starting to clear off a lot of our viewing area. That's what we want to continue to see happen as we get through the 5 o'clock hour. And again, if you want to watch our newscast, you can head over to our website. We do have a few places. We are streaming. Obviously, you can watch us on TV. I can see right now Chief Meteorologist Chris Easlick giving his update on what he's seeing. But just continuing to monitor this as it moves to the east. Like I mentioned, you live in Imlay City, you live in Brown City, Almont. You still have some time here. Sandusky, Argyle, probably 5 to 15 minutes. Caro, I think you're going to be in the clear at this point. Unionville, I think I mentioned that before. You're in the clear. Cass City and Kingston, you have about 5 to 10 minutes before you're in the clear for any of that severe weather. Owendale, you're holding on to some of those higher or stronger rainfall totals, but definitely starting to lower that number, definitely putting us in a good spot. Crystal says we've got heavy rainfall and heavy wind. Thanks for that report. That sort of lines up with what we are seeing in that region. But again, Bad Axe, be prepared. You have about 5 minutes before you do see some of those heavy winds and heavy rainfall at this point. And again, that warning that is going to go right until I think 6:45 or 5:45 is what they had it. Let me see if it loads. Maybe it doesn't load. Maybe it fights me. 5:45. So you still got some time there. They most likely trim and they most likely cancel this as it moves through. Real quickly, did they cancel any more watches with this yet? They have not. So still just Clare, Isabella, and Gratiot counties cleared from that severe thunderstorm warning. I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see Saginaw, Bay, Midland, Shiawassee, Gladwin, Roscommon. You most likely are approaching where they're going to clear you for that severe thunderstorm warning.
All right, First Alert meteorologist Diane Phillips here, helping Stone out to kind of give him a little bit of a breather here. So we still have just this last little bit of these storms that are coming in. So these are still located closer towards the thumb, and that's also where we have those warnings. So the one in Santa Ana County is going to go until 6:15. A lot of you are probably saying, okay, what happens next? So once this kind of pushes through, you'll still see that we have some rain that's just kind of lingering behind it, but there's no lightning there. So it's going to be pretty quiet once this passes on by. I know even here in our newsroom, some folks are saying, hey, do I have a chance to get out to my car without it pouring rain? So you'll still have the rainfall, but that severe weather risk, once we are done with the warnings, will be done for the night. So no issues. You'll have no problem getting that beauty sleep that you need tonight. And of course, just actually saw Reggie. He said in Croswell, still waiting. And yep, you're still going to be waiting a little bit. Your warning there in Santa Ana County goes until 6:15, so we still have an hour yet for this to kind of pass through for you. So just hold on tight. We still have quite a few power outages that are throughout mid-Michigan. We don't have too many that are on DTE into the thumb just yet. But here's some of our outages that we have kind of through mid-Michigan. You can see that they really pop up closer and just kind of like north of I-69, so just south of Saginaw, south of M46. But we do still have some power outages that are around the Mount Pleasant area. That green showing that Consumers has crews that are assigned to those projects. So hopefully they can get the lights back on for any of you who are in the dark here this evening. But thankfully our daylight, we're going to have some of that. I know it's still cloudy and rainy, but at least you have a little bit of light while we're still waiting for that power to come on. So I know, Sarah, you were asking how many power outages do we have closer towards Isabella. So we don't have a ton there, but we do still have quite a few pockets that are showing up. So just note that also when I was talking to some of our crews, that we are sending crews out to get some tree damage. That's really been something that folks have really been reporting is down trees. Another thing to consider at this point in the year is that we have leaves on our trees. And that's going to have some resistance as this wind comes through. So that is going to allow for these trees to topple over a little bit easier. Plus, for some of us, we had some rain yesterday, so that makes the root system soggy. So that's another thing that can help trees to come down. So if you just have that branch that is already maybe kind of just barely hanging on, having strong winds from the system has not really been all that helpful. So we have quite a few reports of downed power lines, of downed trees. So the wind that moves through with these storms, mainly for folks in the thumb, is that you are that you are going to have the strong wind. So actually we had Marta, she's reporting that there along M46 in St. Louis, that the roof was tore off the Ford dealership. So we'll have to send that into our newsroom and send that along to some of our managers there. So again, if you're driving M46, that's kind of where we saw a lot of those power outages that we were just pointing out on the consumer map. So that's the thing. The wind, of course, was a lot stronger there, closer towards St. Louis and along 127 than what it is now currently into the thumb. We have Chris. She's saying in Gagetown, she's got some lightning. So that is going to continue to push through. You should have some wind soon. Yes, you just said a tree down there as well. So that wind is also coming through. Of course, we want everybody to be safe. We're now in the 5 o'clock hour. So for folks who are doing that evening commute, you're checking in with us before you hit the roadways. If you are commuting 75, you are in pretty good shape. Now, if you're in Roscommon County commuting 75, you'll still have some heavy rain. I don't have any severe weather there, but I still have heavy rainfall. But you'll still have steady rain if you're a commuter through the Tri-Cities or even throughout Genesee County. And if you are maybe driving between Lansing and Flint to do the drive, you are going to have still some steady rain, but nothing severe. For commuters that are maybe going Brighton to Flint or even through Livingston County or driving along 23, you are done with the severe weather threat, but you are still going to be picking up on some steadier rainfall. So just kind of giving folks some of that all clear. Even in Standish, Whittemore, Oscoda, we have some storms that are cutting here through Aranac and Iosco counties. Those storms are not quite reaching that severe level. We're still watching them, but they're just not quite reaching severe criteria like the storms are further into the thumb. I'm also happy to see that the reflectivity, so a lot of those red colors are starting to wane now that they're moving into Sanilac and getting a little more established into Huron County. So that means that the storm is starting to weaken. So that helps. I'm sure it's not going to like that. Lake Huron is a little bit cooler. So when we start to kind of tap into some of the cooler air, that is going to kind of hinder the development of these storms as well. Still picking up on heavy rain, though, for drivers that are taking I-69 through Lapeer County. So if that is part of your commute, note that you are going to have to drive through some of that steady and heavy rainfall through there. In Elkton, Melissa saying that it is pouring rain there. And then Cherry also sharing that in Gladwin, they're in pretty good shape. So good deal. We're happy to give you the all clear, Cherry, and also happy to have your report. So again, mainly these storms, still looking at severe thunderstorm warnings from them. Again, the storm warning in Huron County is going to go until about 5:45. So that is active for another 35 minutes. Into Sanilac County, that warning is still active for another hour and 5 minutes. So again, that one's closer towards 6:15. And then into Tuscola County, that warning has been clipped a little bit. So the western portion of Tuscola County has already been gone, but we only have 5 more minutes for that one. So that one will expire at 5:15. And then the Lapeer County warning, that one will expire at 5:30, so in about 20 minutes from now. The good news is that a lot of these no longer have the considerable tag, so we don't have the purple outline on there. So that means that the winds, thankfully, are not next level when we're talking severe thunderstorm warnings. Still, though, they can be strong. That's why we are doing this coverage for you. But we are seeing that that considerable tag has dropped. Amanda is wondering how it's looking in Grand Blanc. So the good news is in Grand Blanc, the severe threat has already pushed out. So the heaviest of rain and the strong push of winds has already cleared Grand Blanc. So you're still working with some heavy and probably some steady rainfall. But as far as the severe weather threat or even the strong wind threat, that is no longer in the Grand Blanc area. That's already moved eastward. So Amanda, you're still going to have a lot of rainfall, but you are going to be done with the severe weather. Chris still reporting that there are still some trees that are down in Gagetown. And then in West Branch, we have Jason and Lori reporting that they're picking up on that heavy rain. And that's what we're still seeing, some non-severe thunderstorms there throughout Ogama and even Roscommon counties. So we are picking up on some steady rain. And yes, as Chris was talking about earlier on the stream, if you've been with us, there's quite a bit of dust and as this line pushes through. So our May, I know it's hard to believe for how soggy April was, but May has been quite dry. So as farm fields are getting worked up, we have a lot of dust that's able to be picked up. And then this wind, even if the farm fields haven't been worked up, but this wind has already, even on the west side, and we've been seeing it here, been pushing a lot of dust with it. So of course, that's a visibility concern. especially through some of our rural communities, but for anybody who's driving. So you'll kind of be able to see that push of wind come through because of the dust component that's a part of it. So that's what we're going to be watching for, is really just wind here for the next about hour or so as that pushes into the thumb. I wouldn't be surprised with already some of that coverage that we may be able to end our coverage even a little bit closer towards 6 o'clock. Of course, if you are looking for the news, TV5 News at 5, make sure that you are, especially if you're on our website, kind of on that first channel when you come up, it's the one that defaults. And then if you're also looking for the news and you're on the TV5 News app, you'll just want to switch back from that breaking news and live events channel back to the just live news channel. So that's where we have TV5 News at 5. If you are here on the TV5 platforms looking for that, of course, our YouTube and Facebook folks, we've just been talking about this weather here and for the last couple of hours. So we're just going to continue to see that. Esma's wondering about Monroe. Monroe County does still have that severe thunderstorm warning for 2 more minutes. So if you are in the city of Monroe, your rainfall is almost out, but you will almost be done with that severe thunderstorm warning. So you'll almost have the all clear there. Chris in Gagetown is also reporting flooded fields. So we are seeing quite a bit of rain. I'm still even hearing the rain here in Saginaw. So even though we don't have the severe thunderstorm warning or even a lot of yellows and reds here, it's still heavy rainfall outside. And still, maybe you could pull up some of our cameras and kind of give us a tour across town. Maybe we can catch some of that rainfall for us. So while we're pulling that up, even for folks that are maybe watching downstate, we still have severe thunderstorm warnings through Detroit, Warren, Sterling Heights, and even closer towards Port Huron, and then here into the thumb, which we've been covering. As we take that tour camera, here we are in Birch Run. So visibility is a lot better since the last time I checked on this camera. We're able to kind of see the flag there at the camping sale warehouse. Still a lot of spray there on 75 from those car tires. So just know hydroplaning is something. If you're maybe thinking, oh, I don't want to replace my tires yet and they're bald, you could be a little bit on the slick side. We actually have a little bit of clearing on the left-hand side of your screen here in downtown Flint. So we're trying to push the storm, the rain out of here, but it's still going to be raining for a little bit. Here we are in Houghton Lake. This is where we're going to have some of that heavy rainfall, and it doesn't look like we can see all that far out over the water. Too bad there's not a ton of lightning within it, but there is still enough lightning. I wish that we could catch some on this camera, but no such luck. So yeah, here you can see the radar coming throughout Roscommon County. We are seeing quite a bit of rain, but see the heaviest rain is just kind of probably east of where that camera is. So that's going to be for drivers along 75, definitely going to be slowing you down there. Here in downtown Saginaw, we had the wind, we had the rain, and now we have some sun trying to come through. So it is still, as I had mentioned, kind of blowing that rain against the roof here at the station. So we're still picking up on rain. If you're running to your car here tonight, you are going to get wet. So umbrellas, well, those will be tricky with the wind. So maybe just rain jackets and running really fast to get to the car is going to be the way to go about it here. So still those raindrops on our camera lens, but some of us are starting to see some clearing here in mid-Michigan. Another check of that pinpoint Doppler, our sky tracker, showing a lot of lightning here into the thumb. And we do have lightning with that cell that we have throughout Roscommon County. So we are going to continue to see a light show with this heavy rainfall, and still our best wind chance is here into the thumb where we have that severe thunderstorm warning. And actually, just like we had said,
I was just about to mention, they did cancel that severe thunderstorm warning for Tuscola County. Sorry if you heard double of me there. Where we always try to try new things. I don't know if a double mic's the new method, but maybe it is. I don't know. You have to tell us in our chat. But yeah, Tuscola County has now been canceled for that severe thunderstorm warning. Caro, you're going to be in the clear at this point. Mayville, that was another area I know I've had a few times asked. Cass City, I think you're also in the clear right now. Kingston, you are also in the clear. And then I think if we look down towards Lapeer County, Deerfield Township, you'll most likely be cut from that severe thunderstorm warning anytime now. Lapeer, you're also sitting in a good shot. I think you're in the clear, so should be able to get out and about. But still be careful, again, for flooded roads, any kind of storm damage that could be popping up at this point into our afternoon. Looking out towards Sanilac County, Argyle is reaching you. Sandusky, you have about 2 to 3 minutes. Deckerville, you're probably going to be looking at 5 to 10 minutes still, but it is moving pretty quickly. Paris Township, I think you have about 5 minutes. Bad Axe, that storm is right on you at this point, so you are in good. Elijah, is Midland okay? Midland, you are in the clear at this point. You got some rain. I'm not going to count that out. Maybe some moderate, consistent rainfall, but things are looking to be in good shape here as we get through the 5 o'clock hour. I think if you're in Clare, you're in Mount Pleasant, you're in Alma, you're in Ithaca, you're in the good. And actually, they just trimmed the western half of Huron County. So they are doing a pretty quick job of trimming these severe thunderstorm warnings. So Pigeon, Owendale, Caseville, you are in the clear at this point. And then did want to quickly highlight, just to not forget about it, for our viewers there north of the bay, you do still have that special weather statement. Whittemore, you are definitely getting hit by that. Let me know what you're seeing. Tawas City, looks like it's just going to be west of you, but definitely could still get a little breezy, a little bit gusty at times with that special weather statement. That was for 50-mile-per-hour winds. And then areas like Roscommon County, almost the whole county, seeing some heavy rainfall, but nothing severe there. Nothing really severe in any of our northern counties. And real quickly, just pointing up our Mount Pleasant camera, that is, again, showing the sun trying to shine. So as we get through about sunset, we may actually see some more sunshine across the region. Bay City, I see that over in our Facebook chat. We are in the clear, just that moderate rainfall possible, but we do not anticipate any more severe weather in that area. Something we'll have to watch out for is obviously tomorrow across the state, some more severe weather if things can develop. But right back to our pinpoint Doppler, just showing us a little bit of that. But Bad Axe, you're definitely seeing that rain. If you're in that area, let me know. But I think a lot of these warnings will get trimmed and will get canceled a little bit earlier. Like I think we've mentioned, that Huron County warning goes until 5:45. They most likely cancel it beforehand. So just because this system is moving pretty quickly, about 40 to 45 miles per hour, even a few areas maybe closer to 55 miles per hour. Chris says raining good near M53. Thank you for that report, Chris. That's right in that area, obviously, where you have some rainfall. That heavy rain, though, should be out in under 5 minutes. So if you do have outdoor plans, I think you're going to be able to get out there, especially if you live out west of 75. You could be outside again before sunset and enjoying what could be an end of the day, nice afternoon/evening. Obviously, still be safe if you do live near any power lines that are down, you live near any trees that are down, flooded roadways, anything like that. Just please play it safe, move away from that. Don't try to drive over any down power lines. Just find a different way to travel to your location because we don't want you to put yourself in that hazard, especially with down power lines. We have lots of areas being reported with down power lines. Now, quickly looking at our Consumers Energy map, it will pop up. Really not much change. It's been about the same since the last time we updated it. Again, south of Saginaw, still seeing a good, healthy chunk, but they are going to work on that. And the good thing is, this rain chance is going to move out, and I think Consumers Energy and even DTE, if they have any power outages, which I'll check here in a second, they should have a good period of time tonight to get out there and repair any of those power outages. Obviously, major ones may take a little bit longer, but they will be out there, Consumers Energy, working hard to get those fixed at this point. I think for many areas, you are going to see a good recovery, hopefully, of your power into tonight. But again, continuing just to watch this line of showers and thunderstorms move its way through Huron and Sanilac counties. Tuscola County, again, you have been canceled. You are in the clear. Western Huron County, you are also in the clear at this point. So just got to be weary of some rainfall, but otherwise looking to be good. Brown City, that rain is right on top of you, but you got about 5 to 10 minutes with that. Sandusky also right about 5 to 10 minutes before that moves out. But everywhere else, you are in the clear. This line, obviously, putting us in good shape as it moves towards the lake. But if you live in Port Hope, you live in White Rock, those will be areas. Just be prepared. You still got, again, 5 to 10 minutes before it does reach you right now. Aranac, you are relatively in the good. You have a special weather statement up there. I think that will be canceled for Aranac County, but if you live in Iosco County towards Whittemore in Tawas City, just be prepared. You do got some rain there over the next couple of hours, or at least the next hour or so. If you live along M55, M65, you're definitely seeing some rain, but obviously that is just a special weather statement. A stronger storm is missing out on the severe weather characteristics. That was for 55 miles per hour as that moved through. So let me know if you live in Whittemore, if you're there at this point. Scrolling back down to our severe thunderstorm warnings, again, now moving into Sanilac County, Argyle. You probably have about 5 more minutes, and I think you're going to be in good shape. Sandusky, you still have a little bit of time. Brown City, you're almost there. Just hold on, 5 more minutes, and I think you'll be in the clear of that severe thunderstorm warning. But again, we've mentioned this a few times. It is weakening. They just want to continue to highlight, though, that chance of windy conditions as it moves east. And actually seeing some development along M25. Forestville, you're probably getting some heavy rainfall right now. Harbor Beach, you're going to be close to getting some heavy rainfall. Delaware, Forester, Port Sanilac, those will be areas. You still got some time here to get some of that severe weather. White Rock, I think you also are seeing some heavy rainfall right now, maybe even some small hail possible. And I did, again, similar to what we had earlier, if you live in those areas, you're going to get some rain. You may get about a 2 to 3 minute break before the main line moves in. So don't think because you got some rain and it's over that everything's really good. At that point, you're going to see some windy conditions. And then after that main line moves in, that's where we're in the clear. Chris says, I'm 10 minutes south of Bad Axe and Sanilac, downpouring, no wind. That's a good thing. I think you're probably in the area where heavy rainfall is now your concern. That main line is just now east of Bad Axe, east of M53 and east of M19. So Paris Township, Deckerville, that main line right on top of you. You obviously need to be in your homes. Forestville, you got about 5 minutes, but you're seeing some rain right now from some development out ahead. White Rock's another area. Port Sanilac, you have about 5 to 15 minutes with this line. But again, I do think we're going to start to see these get trimmed a little bit. Like I've mentioned, you live in Owendale, you live in Cass City, you live in Kingston, Marlette, Mayville, Caro, you're in the clear. Lapeer, you're going to be in the clear right now. And then Imlay City, I think you still have about 5 minutes. It looks like you had some redevelopment with that cell, so something we just watch for. Grand Blanc, you're in the clear. Davison, you're in the clear right now. Deerfield Township, you're also in the clear as we just watch this line. Don't see any questions in our chat, but definitely getting to that point where we are going to wind down. Again, once these warnings start to get canceled, which most likely they will, get canceled a little bit earlier than what they were issued to for some of them. We will end the stream and just go back to regular programming, at least on our Facebook and YouTube channels. So that's going to be a good thing. Obviously, you can tune into our newscast at 5:30 and 6, where we'll continue to monitor this line as it moves in and out of the Thumb and then towards the lake and then towards Canada out of our area. Real quickly, looking at some reports. Again, if you're just tuning in, I want to see if this is a photo. Yeah, the roof there, this is at Elma Ford, did actually get ripped off by the wind. It does look like everyone's okay. The storm took off the roof of their body shop. So obviously we don't want to see that damage there, but it's good to hear that everyone is safe at Elma Ford. Some damage to vehicles, but very minimal. So thank you for sending that into our Facebook. I'll try to get that. Someone will try to get that posted and shared. We'll probably have some on that a little bit later in the day, but obviously you are seeing that damage there. And then M46 closed between Tower Line and Morley Drive. So if you are in that direction, be prepared. Again, we're going to have some closures on some back roads, on some more local roads, especially because we have trees down, we have power lines down. Please stay away from any kind of power lines that are down. Please let Consumers Energy or DTE, if you're in the Thumb, take care of that. Please just stay safe. There are going to be some areas that maybe have a little bit more impact when it comes to down power lines and some of those down trees. And just stay away from the down trees as well. At this point. And obviously, if you do come across some flooding, because we have had some heavy rainfall, again, just turn around, don't drown. We want you to stay safe right now. And again, looking at this line, have they canceled? No, still for most of Huron County, still in place. I think Bad Axe, you're probably less than 5 minutes away from being in the clear. Argyle, you're less than 5 minutes. I think Sandusky, it's going to be 5 to 15. Brown City, you're probably in the good. Imlay City, you just had this weird development down there to the south. So you've stayed a little bit longer. Sort of what happened in Flint earlier. Flint got stuck in some sort of redevelopment, so had a little bit longer rain. Obviously, Flint, an area that you get some of these heavy rainfalls, does have some easy flooding potential. So don't have any road reports there, but if you do come across, again, some flooded roads, turn around, find a different way. You'll be able to find a different way. I'm outside here in thunder, lightning, heavy rain. Thank you for that report, Chris. Looks like you're traveling with us and you're traveling with that line, but you should be obviously in the clear for the severe weather. Just again, like you reported, some thunder, some lightning, heavy rainfall, and that may continue to be something we see on and off through the remainder of our at least 5 o'clock hour and into 6 o'clock. Let's actually look at lightning. There are a few reports on the backside of this. So you definitely hear some rumbles of thunder through Vassar, through Caro, through Bay City. Still a little bit of energy there, but again, once the main line moves through, we don't anticipate any severe weather with that. And again, if you've been tuning in, you've probably been hearing we'll have another chance tomorrow. Still some question marks with that one. How well does everything hold together? I think we'll have a better idea through the rest of today. You'll obviously want to tune in to our newscast at 5:30 and 6 for more of the details on what we're seeing tomorrow. You can also tune in to our newscast at 10 and 11 p.m. For more information on what we could see tomorrow. Obviously, this line of showers and thunderstorms long gone by then, but still continue to highlight severe weather threats. Obviously, the big thing is we've been warmer. Temperatures still in the 80s for tomorrow. Will still be pretty muggy at times, so that is mostly why we're seeing that severe weather chance. By the time we get to Wednesday, temperatures drop into the 60s. And you know what? Things will be a lot calmer. We'll actually have some high pressure rolling in, moving into the region for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then we'll hold another rain chance into the weekend. So anyone that has plans there, just be prepared for that. Right now it's light, but it's something we will highlight over the next couple of days. Bad Axe, I think you're in the clear right now. Port Hope, you're going to be feeling that line about 2 to 5 minutes. Forestville, White Rock, you're also going to be seeing that rain in about 5 minutes. Deckerville, that line is on you. Sandusky, you probably have about 5 more minutes before you're in the clear. Applegate, you have about 5 minutes before it reaches you. So we're just slowly seeing this line move its way in. Let me just check the National Weather Service chat real quickly just to see what we have. And actually, they just canceled that severe thunderstorm watch for more counties. So before I check the chat, let's see where they canceled that at. So if you live in Aranac, you live in Gladwin, you are canceled. Roscommon County, you're also canceled for that severe thunderstorm watch. They still have it in place for Midland Bay, Saginaw, down to Shiawassee and Genesee counties. We'll see how long they hold up that, because I do think that line is gone. They may be just holding on to it a little bit longer, but it will eventually get canceled here, if not held on to a little bit longer. And again, that goes through 8 p.m., but most counties, you are going to be clear. 65 here, Chris says. Thank you for that report. Lori says, over this crap. I think a lot of people are. Obviously, April had that tornado chance around the 14th. We had a wet month for many, even without many severe weather chances some of those days. You obviously had very wet conditions. Flint was the rainiest April of all time there. So luckily, we've started the month dry. I would say luckily, sort of in air quotes, because again, things have not been the wettest, and we've had some dry conditions. We've obviously had some fire conditions to the north over the last week or so. This weekend, I think on Saturday, we dealt with that in areas like Aranac County. So this rain's going to help. I think it will help a few areas. Hopefully it didn't rain too fast and too hard, But even now, we get some lingering stuff behind the main line. I think that will help us out, maybe keep us out of that drought monitor conditions and continue to keep us being one of the only states that's not having any drought conditions. Now back to our pinpoint Doppler, Sandusky. You probably, again, still have a few minutes. You'll be in the good. Argyle, you are in the clear. Flynn, I think you're in the clear. Brown City, you are in good shape. I think you're able, again, to deal with some rain chances, but severe weather, that should be gone. Sandusky, Port Sanilac, Forestville, you got a few more minutes. I think Forestville, you had sort of that front area meet you. That's going to move in. It's going to get windy here. And then just moving up, Port Hope, definitely seeing some rain. They just actually trimmed Huron County even more. So Bad Axe, you are now in the clear. Port Austin, no longer in that severe thunderstorm warning. Jason and Lori Brown says, how are we looking here in Ogama? I'm out here in West Branch. Well, for now, you're in the pretty good shape. Definitely have some rain chances still moving through. I think you probably have another hour of rain. It may get heavy at times. As you can see, that sort of area of showers and thunderstorms is sort of trending towards West Branch. But again, nothing severe with this. We just had that special weather statement towards Aranac and Iosco County. So Whittemore, any kind of strong storm that you may had, it's gone. This is quickly moving out. So I think sooner rather than later, they will be canceling that special weather statement. You're still going to be looking at rain, though, for a little bit longer. And again, West Branch, you do have some heavy rainfall, but nothing severe at this point as we get through about 5:33 p.m. So just be prepared for that. You may hear rumbles of thunder, could get windy. But with the National Weather Service not issuing special weather statements or warnings, I think that's a good sign for you that you'll be in good shape at least through tonight. Obviously, we'll watch out for severe weather chances into tomorrow. Real quickly, just back to that line. I just seen a report, heavy rain in Harbor Beach. You're right in that area, probably that line just getting to you. So just stay indoors for about 5 to 10 minutes. Stay indoors even afterwards. It's going to be rain, and there's still some lightning. Obviously, you don't want to be dealing with that as it moves out. And quickly, just showing up our power outage map while we just watch this line get out to the bay, or out into the water, I should say. Still, the biggest areas are along 127 towards Alma, towards Ithaca. Then in between, really, Ithaca and St. Charles, and then up to Saginaw. Those are the areas that are seeing some of the larger areas of power outages out towards Ovid and Elsie. Luckily, sort of southern Shiawassee County, where we had those strong wind gusts being reported, doesn't appear to be much in terms of power outages. An area just out there east of Morris towards Durand, there's just a small area there, maybe a few individual power outages, but I think it's a good sign that widespread power outages aren't popping up for our southern counties where they did have some stronger wind trying to set up for you, especially in Perry, Morris area, Durand, possibly seeing some heavy wind gusts. Let me pull up DTE Energy's power outage map just to see what the thumb is reporting. So let me just zoom out. So there are a few towards Gagetown, towards Akron, Unionville, Fairgrove. You do have some power outages being reported there where that line really was kicking up. Just west of Dayton. Cass City, you don't have anything right now, but just west of you, there is a few areas as you get towards Dickerson Road and Cass City Road, just there west of the Michigan Department of Natural Resources building. Otherwise, we're not seeing many reports east of that. You do have an area towards Pigeon where you do have a few power outages. Caseville has a very slim amount of power outages, but there are a few being reported on the DTE map. Again, I pulled that up, but we just don't have it loaded quite yet, so we'll worry about that later to get that loaded. But we are starting to wrap this up. We are seeing Sanilac County. You're holding on to that severe thunderstorm warning, but they continue to just trim off that warning in Huron County. I wouldn't be surprised. Give it 5 to 15 minutes. They do end up trimming that for Huron County, and you'll be in the clear, just dealing, again, with some rain chances for the next couple of hours. Forester, I think you're going to be next for some rain. Just anyone along M25, you're definitely going to have that chance. Carsonville, Applegate, you're in sort of that hot spot right now for rain and wind. Deckerville, you're definitely still in that line. Give it about 5 more minutes, and you will be in the clear of that severe weather. Just got to report trees down in Essexville. Let me just see if they have a road, but a pretty big tree there in Essexville. I don't have a road on this report, but again, like I've said a few times, you just want to play it safe. If you are traveling, there are going to be trees down. There will be power lines down. So be prepared to find another direction on your way home or on your way to work, or maybe you're just going to be going out and about with friends and family on a Monday afternoon/evening. Please play it safe. Don't go near any down power lines. Save that for Consumers Energy and DTE. That is their job. They're professionals at it. And I know some people want to think they're professionals, but please, please, please be safe with that line moving through. Real quickly, zooming out. Again, that line still just holding together as it moves through Sanilac County. Sandusky, I think, again, you're probably in the clear. Brown City, Bad Axe, Port Hope, you're probably looking good. M19, if you live along M19, you're in the good at this avenue of the afternoon. As we approach 540, it's 537 right now, about to be 538. And again, just a minute, let's actually pull up SkyTracker. I want to see what cloud cover looks out west. So Grand Rapids, I'm going to pull up the Grand Rapids camera just real quickly. I want to see if they're seeing some sunshine after what was an active day. And again, 80-mile-per-hour winds in that area being reported. So let's just pull that up. Let's see what we got. Yeah, definitely getting some sunshine. Here's Grand Rapids. Is it going to load? Oh, no. Okay. For anyone that wants to see what's to our west, here's Grand Rapids. You're dry, you're sunny. That's going to be on the way for anyone that has outdoor plans beyond 6 p.m. I think from about 6 to sunset, even through tonight, things will be dry. So if you have outdoor plans or want to get outdoors real quick, maybe just go on a run, maybe you got to walk the dog. I know we've had a few people yesterday mention that they had to walk their furry friends. I think you're going to get some nice weather for that towards sunset, which will be definitely a good 180 twist on our weather from this afternoon after those windy conditions. But back to our sky tracker, it's going to show that sky trying to open up at this point. Let's just zoom out real quick just to see. So yeah, Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo seeing some sunshine. Lansing, you're definitely hitting in place. So definitely in good shape here again as we continue to see these storms wrap down. And in terms of lightning, still quite a bit of lightning within that line, so you definitely want to stay indoors. Okay, just looking at our National Weather Service chats just to see if they have any more reports. Again, they keep sending reports here or there. Thunderstorm damage. Here's some of the reports of thunderstorm damage that they have. Hemlock into Essexville, obviously. We've just talked about that tree down and a few trees down in Essexville. Just continue to scroll here. In terms of wind gusts, so far, I think we're seeing Livingston County, which is just out of our area, but is there at 45 miles per hour. And just continuing to look through, not seeing that many reports, but it is there. Sherry says, looks like we may just go, maybe get some sunshine before it gets dark. Yeah, like I said, you're definitely going to get some sunshine. Maybe have a nice afternoon in some areas like Gladwin, Clare, Mount Pleasant, Saginaw, you're looking to be good. And then Flint, you also might get some sunshine here as we get into the next couple of hours.
First Alert meteorologist Diane Phillips hopping on, giving Stone a chance to catch his breath. But we still have those storms, of course, that we are watching through the thumb. But I did also want to share some of the wind gusts that have been reported in West Michigan, because the National Weather Service in Grand Rapids, they shared some of the numbers that they had come through and some of the reports that they've had. So in Allegan County, they saw 57 mile per hour wind gusts. In Calhoun County, they had, or even around Springfield, Michigan, around a 74 mile per hour wind gust. We actually even had a report come from Eaton County. So this is going to be kind of the western portion of the county. This was off of a weather station sensor that someone had on their roof, and it reported 90 miles per hour on that line. So that could easily have been isolated. Of course, that is also a little bit elevated being on top of a rooftop, but that's the highest number I've seen all day. And then towards Ionia, they had a 59 mile per hour wind gust. And then throughout Kent County into Kentwood, they had an 81 mile per hour wind gust. So the winds were definitely stronger on the western side of the state. Closer towards the airport, they had there in Grand Rapids a 75 mile per hour wind gust. South Haven had 61 as these storms were just coming off of the water. And then the St. Joseph Pier also reported 60 mile per hour winds. So thankfully the winds settled a little bit. They're definitely more settled now than what they were. But even here in mid-Michigan and even the Lansing area saw 60 plus mile per hour wind gusts at the airport. Even in Freeland at MBS Airport, we had that 63 mile per hour wind gust. So, of course, we're waiting for our partners at the National Weather Service to kind of compile a lot of that data for us. And actually just coming in a couple of minutes ago in Sanilac County, they did update that warning. So that has been trimmed just a little bit there. But yeah, here's a look at some of our local storm reports that have been sent in. And some of those hail reports into the thumb are from yesterday. So we haven't had actually any hail reports from today. We've had crazy wind. So Linda, she's in Harbor Beach and she's saying crazy wind. Oh, and a little bit of hail. So just a little bit there. Tara asking if Bay City's in the clear for tonight, and you are in the clear in Bay City. So just kind of going through some of our Facebook comments in our live stream there. But we're still seeing the strong winds coming through Sanilac County. I would say if you are in eastern Huron County, you are in the clear. Almost, though we still have that warning. A lot of that rainfall is out over the water. So it's mainly just Sanilac County that we're really just kind of watching this last push of wind. So some of those wind reports that I was sharing, these are what we're seeing closer towards the thumb now and starting to move closer towards the water. So behind it, we did also have a report in Iosco County along M55 and M65. We had somebody say that they had some strong winds pick up for just a quick little bit as those storms pushed through. So very same, even though that line was a little bit broken and it kind of broke apart around the bay, we still had strong winds and some powerful storms. So even though we didn't have a ton of severe thunderstorm warnings north of US 10, we did still see quite a few reports of impressive wind nonetheless, and still that heavy rainfall. So that's still what we're watching for, is mainly the wind and the heavy rain and, of course, the lightning. With it being a beautiful day, a lot of you were probably hoping to get outside and do some barbecuing. So if you're willing to eat a little bit later, I think we're going to have a chance, as Stone had mentioned. Even our friends further west, they're clearing out, they're drying out. And the wind, or excuse me, well, of course the wind's going to be gone with the storms, but the rain is also going to start to disappear too. So we will continue to just see improvements. Jody also reporting that there was some hail in Port Hope today with these storms. So as those are starting to leave, so it seemed like we were able to pick up on a little bit of hail with the storms that are closer towards the shoreline of the thumb. That's kind of where all of our reports have been. So we only had that one kind of core tried to get developed there into Shiawassee County, but beyond that, it's just the reports that we're seeing now come in. That's mainly all the hail discussion from the storms. It's mainly just been wind and the heavy rain, and then of course we even still have a lightning. So that's why, if you are out tonight or wanting to do dinner on the patio, check the lightning tracker on the First Alert Weather app. That's under the radar tab. You have kind of the layers in there that you can select. So have that downloaded, and then you can use that to kind of see here where that lightning is. So hopefully you have that already downloaded. It is, all you got to do is search, and actually I have it here, but let's not give you the winter version. I want to just share the version here. So this is going to be for the First Alert Weather app. if you don't have that, then you were really kind of missing out earlier, because we do have, of course, the alerts that go to that. Of course, we also push that we were live streaming here. So that's just a great tool to have. Even on days that we don't have first alert weather days, you can still stay updated on the weather. And like I had mentioned, watching our live stream and using the lightning tracker there as well. Even some of our cameras starting to see a little bit of sunshine. We'll actually kind of pull that camera up here. So again, that is free to download. Get that first alert weather app. We would love to have you have it, but I'm going to toss it back over to Stone here. I have to go do our 5:30 newscast, so he's going to talk about that sunshine we're happy to see.
Yeah, so this is our Mount Pleasant camera there at Central Michigan University, and well, you're seeing sunshine. And again, we've been talking about this as we wrap up this severe thunderstorm coverage. Huron County, you were now in the clear. They have canceled that severe thunderstorm warning. We're just holding on to Sanilac County at this point here as we approach 5:47. But areas, and actually Monday they just canceled some of those severe thunderstorm watches. No, it's a new severe thunderstorm warning, but I think it's going to be south of us. Let's find out. It's actually north of us. They're getting some intensification. That's just out of our area, though. But be prepared for that if you do have any family members just north of Oscoda into Harrisville. That is an area that does have a stronger storm moving itself in at this point. There it is, that warning. So just north of us. So be prepared for that. Let me just see what that is warned for anyone that may be viewing from that area. That is for 60-mile-per-hour gusts. So really just the same as what we've been looking at all day. But if you have anyone in the Harrisville State Park or Lincoln, make sure they are prepared for some of those stronger wind gusts. If they are out maybe camping, or maybe they have a camper in that area, just be prepared for that. Obviously, trees falling over will be a big concern with those 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And just real quickly, just scrolling down, they still have yet to cancel severe thunderstorm watches for the rest of the region. But again, Aranac, Gladwin, Roscommon, Clare, Isabella, and Gratiot counties, you have been canceled here as we get closer to the 6 o'clock hour, and I think eventually we'll see Bay, Midland, Saginaw, Shiawassee, Genesee counties. You also get canceled with that. But back to what we're seeing, still have that special weather statement in place for north of the Bay. You're in the good, I think, at this point, just having some light rain, maybe some lightning with that. So just be prepared for more rain, but again, severe weather should be gone. In terms of our cameras, let's take a look again. This is just showing his Mount Pleasant camera. Here's our US 10 camera. Again, they're showing sunshine off in the distance. Still not totally sunny, but just a preview of what's moving in from the west. Obviously, if you have any plans or maybe want to have any plans for the end of your Monday afternoon into Monday evening, you're going to get some dry conditions, you're going to get some sunshine. Let's look across some more of our region here. Here's our Saginaw camera. Actually, also seeing more sunshine. So definitely getting to enjoy that right now. Still some light clouds, but like we've mentioned a few times, things are wrapping up. We're actually seeing that sun. Down now back to Sanilac County. That line is quickly approaching the water. I think if you're in Sandusky, you are in the clear. They actually just trimmed, it looks like, western Sanilac County, so no longer in that severe thunderstorm warning. It's just areas like Port Sanilac, Applegate, then as you get towards Forster and Delaware, you still continue to hold on to severe thunderstorm warnings at this point into our afternoon, and you still have about 5 to 15 minutes until that moves itself out and we are in the clear, and eventually again canceling that severe thunderstorm warning. But like we've mentioned, we're not done yet because day 2 does have another severe weather outlook. We'll quickly load that up here. A slight risk down to the southeast and eastern portions of mid-Michigan, a marginal risk up to the north. So if you watched yesterday, you watched even this morning, you probably noticed there's a shift. They've shifted that slight risk a little bit farther southeast. I think that's the trend we're seeing. We're still going to watch it through the rest of our afternoon into tonight, into tomorrow morning, but there's going to be a possibility where the severe weather chances just move to the southeast. We have some strong storms. I am not going to count that out, but at least we're sitting in a location where things are in a better spot for tomorrow. We won't have to worry as much for that severe weather chance, and then we can end up having nicer conditions as we head towards the end of the week for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday with high pressure. But pinpoint Doppler does continue to hold even some moderate rain chance. I think if you live in Carroll, you live in Bad Axe, you are still going to see some pretty moderate, consistent rainfall, even heavy at times. So don't be caught off guard by that. It is there, but no severe weather with that area. In terms of lightning, let's just see if that's still giving us some lightning as I zoom in towards Tuscola County. Maybe a few lightning strikes here or there, especially towards Unionville, Owendale, Bad Axe, but not as widespread as what it was earlier. So that's good to see that we're just continuing to wind down this chance. That main line really is starting to get out there towards the water. So we are so close to being, I think, in the clear for Sanilac County. But again, if you have any family members living north of Iosco County, they do have a new severe thunderstorm warning that's towards Harrisville State Park. Oscoda, you're just south of that, but if you have any family members along M23 north of the bay, still have that severe thunderstorm warning there. And just for that system really actually intensified pretty quickly, so probably just a little bit of energy for that. Just quickly checking my phone, not seeing anything there. What time would they have this actually going to? They may end up holding on to it. Let's just see if it loads. That is our intensity, about about just a little over 1/4 of an inch of rain in that precipitation rate I just clicked on. So again, some flooded areas are definitely a possibility. It's fighting me. The computer is fighting me. I apologize. We're looking up precipitation rates. We're not looking up when that warning goes to. Can I get it? There it goes. So yeah, that warning, that's going till, let's see, when did they have the until 6:15? I doubt they have it hold it till there. If they've been trimming it elsewhere, they most likely continue to trim it once that main area gets across the water. I think southern Sanilac County, though, that may go till 6:15. Just quickly checking social media alert I just got. That is another warning, but not for our area. That is actually out of the state. So good to see that is continuing. You're going to see some photos, actually. I'm just seeing this photo. I seen it on the National Weather Service chat. A couple airplanes flipping at the Capital Region International Airport in Lansing. So that was something we saw with those strong winds, is some damage, including planes flipping at airports across mid-Michigan, including Lansing Airport, seeing that. But again, wrapping this up at this point, you're in Huron County, you're in clear. I think if you're even northern Sanilac County, you're probably in the good at this point. Old question there, is Bay City in the clear tonight? I think we already answered that. Yes, Bay City, you should be in the clear for tonight. But this last line, just really holding on just a little bit longer. I think we should be in the clear. And again, to be able to enjoy the rest of our afternoon, like I showed earlier, if you've been tuning in, get some sunshine here in Saginaw. You're definitely getting some sunshine in Mount Pleasant. You're going to be getting some sunshine in Bay City. And then I think up north, you'll be getting some sunshine in just a little bit. So definitely clearing us off at this point. Gladwin, definitely get some sunshine. Holton Lake, let's actually pull up that Holton Lake camera and just see what you're seeing. Hard to tell actually what's going on there. It looks like there's a little bit of haze just coming off of the lake, so hard to tell. Yeah, definitely some haze there. Not haze, just some foggy conditions maybe off the lake. Mount Pleasant, like we've said, you're seeing some sunshine. Let's actually pull out west just to really show it off. Again, look how bright it is in Mount Pleasant. That camera showing off the sunshine there. So definitely getting to get to enjoy that. And they still haven't trimmed it yet. I'm surprised they haven't trimmed northern Sanilac County, being that most of that line is now off in the water. If you live south Sanilac County, really east of M19, I'm trying to see what road that is, M90. If you live south of there, Lexington, you still have some time here. Birch Beach, you still have some time. Roseburg, you're probably in the clear if you live out there. Just seeing some rain continuing over the next couple of minutes, or even in the next 15 to 30 minutes. But we are wrapping this up at this point. Again, just southern Sanilac County moving itself out. I think northern Sanilac County, you're in the clear. And we'll be able to wrap this up most likely before we get to the 6 o'clock hour. That is myself. Hello. Not the right camera that we want. We want this one showing itself up. I know. Sometimes you misclick and you hit random buttons. I've done that a few times today. Get some fat fingers going on the Stream Deck here. But they still haven't trimmed that northern Sanilac County spot. I think we're in the clear, and then the rest of the TV5 viewing area, you're in the clear. A good sign, we're not seeing any development on the western half of the state, even where they have that sunshine. So I think that continues. Have they canceled this? They've not canceled those severe thunderstorm warnings. Maybe they hold on to them till 8 p.m. But I don't think you're going to have to worry about that through the rest of our night, or at least the rest of our afternoon into our evening. Carol, you're definitely seeing some rain. Bad Axe seeing some rain. Quickly before we wrap stream again, I'll just go over what we can expect for tomorrow. Again, there is a slight risk in place for the southeast portions of mid-Michigan. Bay City, you're included in that. Saginaw, you're also included in that slight level 2 risk. I think the trend, though, we're seeing is it wants to move a little bit farther southeast. So I think by the time we get into tomorrow morning, if we're in the marginal, that really wouldn't surprise me. It's just really not showing a very healthy chance as we get through our Tuesday. But it's still something we're going to continue to highlight. Let's go through our hour by hour real quickly. Again, just starting to clear off. I think by 7 p.m. we're going to be out of rain chances. We're going to be dry tonight. We'll even be dry tomorrow morning, get some sunshine. This is at 11 a.m. I think if we do have a window of showers and thunderstorms, will be right around 1 p.m. It's a little bit earlier than today. If we do get severe weather, again, I'll be right here on our live stream, but there really isn't much. Our hour by hour continues to just shave that chance down south. If I zoom out, let's see what it's looking like to our south. So let me add a pause point here so I can zoom. And even now, it's still not showing much to the southeast. So there it is. So yeah, continuing to see that development to our southeast. So that's a good trend. I think they end up probably moving that slight risk. We'll probably have a marginal risk for tomorrow if they continue to see this trend on the more forecasting models, but it is there for that. I can't tell. Did they cancel that? Where's my warnings? They have yet to cancel that Sanilac County. And again, you still have St. Clair and Macomb County in a severe thunderstorm warning, and then north of us there and with that severe thunderstorm warning. So just be wary of that. Cherry says, thank you, Stone. Hope you have a great night. Hopefully you also have a great night. We're going to get close to wrapping this up here in the next couple of minutes, and then we're going to send it away. You're going to want to tune into our newscast, though, later this evening at 10 and 11, where you'll get more from our Chief Meteorologist, Chris Easlick. And we'll also have our live stream, our next First Alert Weather live stream. That will be at 9 p.m. or around 9 p.m., where you get more information about that severe weather chance for tomorrow, because we're not done yet. We're going to have another warm day. If anyone's curious, let's look at our highs for tomorrow. If it loads here for us, highs for tomorrow. 80s again. So another nice day. If we can avoid that severe weather chance, you're going to be in the good. And then let's just look at highs for Wednesday real quickly before we end the stream for anyone that is curious. We're back into the 60s. So enjoy the warm weather while we can right now. But with that system moving itself out, at this point, they may just hold on to that warning till it expires. But I believe you are in the clear for Sanilac County. Just some moderate rainfall possible at this point, but the strongest portions of that system are off into the water. So with that, I am going to end the stream here. I do want to thank everyone for joining us here. We had quite a lot of questions. I want to thank everyone for that. Again, make sure you tune in to our newscast at 10 and 11. You also tune into our newscast right now at 6, where TV5 Chief Meteorologist Chris Easlick, he's having more updates on your weather. But with that, everyone have a wonderful rest of your Monday. Be prepared for some more chances tomorrow, and enjoy the calmer weather that we have starting on Wednesday.
Thank you for watching today's stream.